Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting edition here at Omnibros Live, part of the Omnibus Collectors Network. It's your boy Gio here from Manga Geekdom, and I'm joined by two wonderful people. We got Colleen's Manga Rex. How you doing?
Doing good.
The smut connoisseur. I love it. And the insufferable Omnibus Collector. Riley, how you doing?
I am not the wonderful person. It is you two who are the wonderful people.
You're all fantastic individuals. And look at that. We already got the three goats. I appreciate that. Three amigos.
All walking in a line.
So welcome everybody to the show. Tonight we got a lot of solicits and some interesting conversations regarding that and other stuff, which is very vague, but we'll get to it. Don't worry. Tonight we also have some hauls, and we have our wonderful sponsor to thank. That is Instocktrades.com, your home for collected editions. You get your omnibus, hardcovers, trade paperbacks, manga, and more for great discounted prices that range from 35 to 42, 50% off at times. Free shipping in the US at $50 or more. Loyalty discount adds an extra 2% off to your books. So if you made an order of $50 and you got books that are like 50% off, now they're 52% off. That's pretty great. You're not going to get that at the other websites. You get it at Instocktrades.com. Great packaging, wonderful customer service. That is IST, as the kids like to say, our lovely sponsor. Also, at some point during the month of November, we do it every month, but we already did the thing on October, so I'm moving ahead to November with this plug. At some point during the month of November, we will be doing a gift card giveaway valued at $50, open to anybody out there in the world. All you got to do is show up to the shows, participate in the chat. We pick out a winner towards the end of that particular stream. So you have to be on the lookout Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays on the channel. So thank you, everybody. Thank you to Instocktrades, most importantly. Let me show you the website real quick. So here's the main website, of course, Instocktrades. We got the deals of the week. You can get that Hellblazer, Omnibus, Man-Thing, Marvel Masterworks, Parasite, the final Parasite hardcover. And you can get Radiant Black hardcover, 50% off. Superman, House of Brainiac at 50% off as well. And some of your new releases over here. Lots of cool stuff. The top sellers, of course. And I do want to point out, which is brand new. This happened, I think, Tuesday. They are doing an overstock sale, which has a lot of cool books. Unfortunately, we're a little bit too late to plug it here because a bunch of stuff has already sold. But some quality stuff, as you can see here, not necessarily filler titles. You got Red Sonja Omnibus, Against Hope hardcover, Spider-Man Omnis, Aquaman books. You'd rarely see that on here. Batman stuff, and you got some manga as well. Let me see if I can find them real quick. I think it was 13 pages. We're already down to 10. So people have been shopping hard on this. Look at that. A Cat from Our World and the Forgotten Witch, Volume 2, 50% off. I did see some cool stuff. Let's see if it's still here. Hold on. Deadly Class. You got some Deadpool. Doctor Strange. Fantastic Four. Okay. Fire Force box set, 50% off. That's great.
Oh, nice. For a whole box set, too.
Yeah. The Godzilla Complete Monsters and Protectors. I'm hoping this doesn't sell out so that next week, when I make a new order, I can add this to my list because I do need this. I forgot to get it when it came out. So don't get it. Get everything else, folks, but don't get this right now, please. For me, do it for Gio. Gone. That's a distillery book. You got some Green Lantern. You got some Grendel, Hellboy. If you watch the new Hellboy movie, you might recognize this particular book right here, which is the sequel to what the movie is based on. You got some horror books. Got some Hulk. Where are the freaking volumes that I want to show? Dang
There's
it.
an Initial D also.
Oh, yeah, there's Initial D. Here's Invincible. Invisible Man and his soon-to-be wife, which is getting an anime adaptation, by the way.
You can initial D's nuts.
Hey, let's go. Kimono Jihen. We're getting to the manga. Oh, here we go. That's a new one. Right. Let's do it already. 50% off.
I highly recommend. It's
$5.99, $6. That's great.
so good. Everyone read it.
Yeah, there you go. Let's see if there's any other newer manga here. Freaking Micronauts, whatever. Sorry, I got beef with the Micronauts. Sorry. Marvel Masterworks. This one came out recently from Udon. More Than a Married Couple, but Not Lovers. It's also 50. Everything's 50% off. The My Neighbor Totoro All-in-One edition that just came out a couple months ago. Also 50% off. $15.
Pretty neato.
Yeah, look at that. Origin. Colleen loves Origin from Boichi. You can get it at 54% off. $5.95.
Enemy of the show.
In volume 3 for some reason.
Nemesis of the show. Another parasite.
Not even enemy. He's gone to full nemesis.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Demon Days from Peach Momoko. That's great. Love that series. Power Girl from DC. You got some Prez, which is good. Promised Neverland.
Random
When people
volume.
used to love that. Rom, the Romnibus. Stupid Rom. So yeah. And even this thing, the Scott Pilgrim 20th anniversary hardcover, 50% off as well.
Nice. You can get the black. I am tempted because they have the black and white version in hardcover.
Mm-hmm.
So I have, because I sold my black and white paperbacks a long time ago when the colored editions came out.
Yeah. Sex Criminals. You got some Shazam. Snot Girl, which is coming back, if I remember correctly, volume 4 or 5.
I need to pick that one up. Riley keeps recommending it.
You should.
It's really good. Yeah. She's
It's
got
only $5.
boogers. But it's only $5. She got boogers, but you can look past that for a great story.
She's brat.
She
Because
is the
I kept
original.
yeah. I kept recommending it to people, and they're like, "Oh, but what about the boogers?" I'm like, "Ignore the boogers, man. That's
She just has a little bit of boogie on her nose.
yeah. You know, faucet's leaking a little bit. That's all right."
I feel like snot and boogers are kind of different.
Yeah.
When I think of snot, I think of like, oh, you have a cold. But when I think of boogers, I'm like, oh, you're like a child and you're eating them.
Look at that, DMNT, one of the hardcover, or no, sorry, the trade paperback. My bad. Volume 4 with the best turtle, my favorite turtle.
A volume of Tokyo Revengers.
Also purple.
That might be the most recent one, or was there one more that came out? I don't know.
We're almost done here. Venom, Walking Dead. If you like the zombies, Wolverine, Wonder Woman stuff. Oh my God! Even here, this doesn't sell. Holy crap!
Wonder Man.
What a wonderful waste of time making that omnibus. So yeah, there you go. You got an overstock sale. Unfortunately, some stuff already sold. So shop accordingly. Anyways, that's it. Instocktrades, a lovely sponsor. Shout out.
Shout out.
Let's see. We got some people in the chat. Kane, I did see that haul. Pretty epic haul from NYCC. Got the X-Men manga early. And the MTG's Magic the Gathering manga arrived today. That card is staying inside the book. Nice.
I should have done that as well, but I didn't.
You can still do it. You can reseal it and then add a little bit of glue and stick it on there.
I didn't.
Yeah, nobody will know.
I don't know. I don't really care.
Except everybody watching the stream, but it's okay. So good. Bought the G.I. Joe compendium. Shout out. Subhuman. Super excited for A Witch's Life in Mongol. Nice. We're going to talk about that in a few. Spud Boy, thank you for joining. Everybody, thank you so much. Here's my Discord link. James putting that up early. Thank you. We are going to talk about Reincarnation Coliseum because holy shit. Kindergarten Wars. This surprised me too because that was not where I thought that book was going to land. Yeah. Anyhow,
we had it on our Viz bingo like every single time.
Every single time. I remember watching you guys talk about that.
Will's in the chat just in time for us to talk about the bingo and how.
Will.
Before we get into it, anybody haul anything cool that you want to show the peeps?
everything I've ordered from the past 2 weeks just shipped today, so I
Ooh.
don't have anything to show.
I have
Or reads.
Oh, I do. Hold on.
Oh, he always does. I'll show mine real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. First, I got the.
No, wrong camera. My bad.
I was like, oh, okay.
I'm so sorry. That was the wrong button.
I got the first volume of Tiger and Dragon. It's a love triangle rom-com manga. Heavy on the comedy in this one. If you don't like love triangles, I would still recommend this because it's
Nice.
funnier than it is like romance drama.
Yeah.
And it's only 3 volumes too. So if we get this, 3 volumes.
There you go.
So if this one does well enough, we might be able to get another one of her series. And I really like this mangaka. She's very funny.
I want to check it out. I'll pick it up.
It's really fun. I really do recommend it, even if you don't like love triangles, because I'm sure a lot of people don't like love triangles. And then I got one more, and that is volume 1 of Diary of the Female Lead. Kimi ni Todoke fans would probably like this one. There's a little less like coming of age aspect to it. It's more romance heavy, but I think you would still like this one. It's got kind of the same vibes. Very good series. And that's my haul.
Very epic haul. I could get behind a love triangle where the focus is more on comedy. I'm interested. I want to laugh out loud reading manga. So I want to pick it up.
The author of that series has really good comedic timing.
Love it. Love to hear that.
And I feel like that's hard with manga sometimes because paneling and whatnot, but I feel like she's got good comedic timing with like a page turn.
Nice.
All right, go ahead.
Insufferable Omnibus collector. What you got?
I got Kana books.
Oh yeah.
Oh, our friends at Kana. Let's go.
But they had 3 Kana books. I think there's one more that came out that
Where'd you find those?
At Barnes and Noble.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna order them later off of Amazon, but we went to Barnes and Noble the other night because we were looking for Spirit Halloween, and there was one that was showing up on Google Maps that was like right next to our Barnes and Noble that just opened up recently, but the Spirit was not there. And so I thought maybe like the Barnes and Noble opened up where Spirit used to be. But I don't know because the address that they gave was different. So anyway, we were already there and I was like, let's go into Barnes and Noble, and looked around and I'm like, let me see what they have here that I haven't been able to get off of IST or Crunchyroll yet. And they had all of the Kana, or not all of the Kana, but they had some of the Kana books. So these are terribly made. Here's Leviathan. This I feel like was the headliner of their.
I'm so disappointed to hear you say that because I want to pick up Leviathan.
This is a $15 book.
That looks like a $5 book.
It's 200 pages.
Oof. Like,
I put it next to a volume of Yakuza Fiance that was also listed as being 200 pages. Yeah. And Yakuza Fiance was like at least 30 to 40% thicker than this.
Oh.
I have to assume that they invested into manga. Yeah, dude. They probably invested the money into the dust jackets that otherwise would have gone into giving it a thicker stock of paper. But like the paper is so thin. It's like tissue paper. It's so thin. And the covers themselves are thin too, like a lot thinner and lesser quality than like any of the most of the other publishers, I will say. And I know like not every small publisher can afford to put out like the same quality, but you look at releases from a lot of the other small publishers, and there's an addendum I'm going to make on that statement also. A lot of the smaller publishers, like Denpa books, fantastic looking. They're obviously bigger than a lot of them, but like Starfruit, the few books that Starfruit has put out have all been really nice. They have thick stock to their covers. They have nice paper. It's not freaking like it's like a Bible, like the thin ass pages of the Bible. So there's that. But the thing with Kana is that they're not a new publisher. They're an imprint of an existing publisher.
Exactly. Yeah.
So like, I don't know. It's not like they're brand new. It's not like they're really just, I don't know. It's very weird. I have not read these yet. These are on my shelf right now. I'll get to them in the next week, hopefully. But I got Manhole as well. So here's the second one.
That's a horror one, right?
Yeah, I believe so. So this one, same basic paper quality, very thin, dust jacket.
Completely unnecessary to start out with.
And it's because, remember when we were reading about the stuff,
Yeah.
They were saying that they wanted to make their books more like the books are in Japan. And they were like,
we said it was a not great idea because you're starting out brand new. Just focus on getting your foot in with good releases and stuff.
Yeah, and they were like, we're going to do this, that, this, and we want to make the books like they are in Japan. And it's like, focus more on making some good books and just choosing some good license. And I think like the licenses are probably good. I'll report back after I read everything. But now here's the funny thing, because both of those are printed in Italy. And when I say that immediately, and Will's going to ping him, Will knows Viz did their reprints in Italy, and those are the ones that made everyone upset. So I don't know if they had the same printer from Italy. I have no idea. But these look like worse quality than the Italian printed books from Viz. This Frank Miller Ronin sequel or whatever, Ronin Rising, was printed in China. And this has thicker paper stock. It has thicker cover stock.
Why couldn't they go with that for Leviathan?
I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know if there's a specific reason why certain books, and this of course is not technically manga, it's American made manga because it's Frank Miller, Philip Tan, two Western comic creators. But I don't know if there's something specifically that like they had to send certain books to one printer or another. I don't know. I have no idea what the situation is behind the scenes. But I would say like they obviously can make nice books, and I have at least one Simpsons hardcover, really nice, big, the like Futurama Simpsons crossover hardcover, super nice quality. I have a couple of books from them, really great. But then these manga, they're not even trying. So whatever's going on behind the scenes, the people that were like heading up, because I think they said like it was being headed by someone from France. When they were talking about it,
yeah,
that person needs to like be in better communication with who they're using for their other stuff as far as like printing them and stuff, because it's just not acceptable. It's funny though, it's the opposite problem that I had with Alien Books first round of releases, because those I thought were too rigid. These are like too flimsy. So yeah, that's again, I haven't read these yet, and that's where a lot of it is going to really count, is the quality of the stories. But as far as the quality of the builds of these books go, these are not great. They are disappointingly put together, but
what would you, of the new people, how would you rank Kana, Alien, and Titan?
I'd put Titan first, because sometimes their stuff is a little flimsy and like glued in a way that's like not great, but I feel like they have good quality covers, and they have at the very least like a decent quality of paper that they'll use. Then I'll put Alien Books, because they did improve. When I bought Kerberos, I believe, or maybe Momo, their more recent one that I bought was better. So like the first few that they put out were super rigid. It was so hard to like, I'm exaggerating a little bit. Obviously I was able to, but I'm saying it was like harder than a normal book to keep open and read comfortably. And then these would be last. Like these so far are just terrible quality. And I really, really hope, because I know that they were trying to highlight like being like, oh, we're going to get different types of licenses that other publishers don't get. and like highlight things that other publishers won't do. And we're going to make our books like high quality and look like the original Japanese ones. These are very low quality, and they need, if they want to highlight these interesting original licenses, they need to do something better. The highest quality standard paperback, I would say, depending on what you want, I would go either most of 7 Seas releases versus Denpa.
Yeah.
Denpa's issues all are from like how long they take, and it's all because they have such a small staff. And it's just, they are kind of, I don't want to sound unprofessional, but like they're kind of, they get ahead of themselves with announcing licenses before they're ready to start working on them. And that's the problem with Denpa. But the physical releases of the books they put out are phenomenal.
Yep.
7 Seas, everything is like good quality. There's a few things that I know they like went down in I think Titan's Bride, I think, got lower paper quality, but overall they're really consistent. And everything is pretty high quality there. I would say Viz is decent as well. Like every once in a while you get something from Viz, like what they did, the Italian prints that are not great, but like I think QC on Viz's side is usually really good. And that's one of the problems with Kodansha, is that while the books are generally well made, and they have some that have low quality paper stock, their QC is really bad as far as like spines not aligning correctly, and like
how they cut them too, because like they're always like a mountain.
Yeah. Like they're all jagged. And like Will said, Dark Horse is solid as well. The only problem I ever have with Dark Horse is the paperbacks, whatever they use to like the stock on the outside of the paperbacks, really easily is the same for Kodansha, really easily chips. Yeah, like Warren said. Those Kodansha and Dark Horse both have that issue, that sometimes even if you're like as careful as can be with those books, they will chip.
What about One Piece books?
They're, I would say, on the same level as about Titan, like maybe a little bit under or about even.
Because the only book I own from them are the Tendo family volumes, but I've never read anything else from them.
Their quality is fine. Like it's not outstanding, but it's not egregious.
The only issue I ever really have with One Piece is the fact that their printing of like the text and whatnot can be all over the place. Some of it's kind of like weirdly placed too.
I noticed in one of the Tendo volumes,
yeah,
that,
it's bad in the first volume.
Huge word bubble, and like the text is right there in the middle. I'm like, whoa, all right.
And they're kind of like off center, and some of them too. It's worse in Tendo than it is in Usatoki Rhetoric. And I actually didn't see any problems with Nukozuke. So it's like the worst printing ever in Tendo, which is unfortunate because it's my favorite series. And
Bean Queenie, thank you for joining. Saw and touched the Leviathan manga store recently, and felt super cheap for its price. Well, now I'm not going to get it. Sorry, Connor.
And we had both Bean Queenie and then Subhuman brought up Yen Press, and I didn't mention them, but I would say Yen Press is fine. They're like, I would say maybe a little bit below Viz, but definitely above Kodansha. And this is only I'm only considering paperbacks. Like I'm not considering big
hardcovers and
stuff. Because pretty much like most of the publishers all are on the same level for the hardcovers, and I think that's because some of them actually use the same printers to do their hardcovers.
Nice. Hasn't One Piece book been having some printing problems? Saw something about Tendo family on the app, on that app.
I'm pulling up some of the examples of the weird
thank you
printing in Tendo. I'm trying to find the one right now where it's like off center because there's like 2 or 3 times in the first volume that I have, but I'm not sure where they are.
By the way, shoot, I needed to say something and now I can't remember what it was. Oh, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Let me double check just in case before I make a mistake here on the air. I got an advanced copy of an Alien Books manga.
Nice.
They are putting out in November 19th, astrobiologist I don't know how to pronounce it. Prates? Sorry, from Sarami. And they sent me a copy digitally, which is fine. I don't mind. But I do have a picture that I want to show. If I can find it. What the hell? Come on, Gmail. Oh, here it is. Okay. Is this it? No, that's not it. Hold on. I am not a professional at this. Biologist. There we go. There we go. Early review, blah, blah, blah. I think it's bigger than... I think it's one of their bigger releases that they've done, like in size. Or I could be mistaken, you know. Let me... I don't want to save the picture. I want to open it. Oh, my God. Oh, I know what to do. Okay, hold on. Copy image address. Nope. Son of a beeswax. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Sorry, folks. Got a million things open here. Share my screen. This is the book that I'm talking about. For some reason, I think this is... It looks like a little bigger than your standard Alien Books book. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about this. I just wanted to plug my own nonsense in here. So there you go. That's coming out soon. How would you pronounce that, by the way?
Astrobiologist, I guess. Prates.
Okay. I'm not alone in my...
Maybe that's a name or something.
It says here... oh, no, this is just a plot description. Sorry. Nagi, who lives in a faraway village close to the sea, is bored out of her mind and drifts in her last summer holiday before ending high school. One fateful day, she has an out-of-body experience and meets Prates, a chill cosmic being from another plane of existence. Can our mundane reality be exciting from another point of view? It's the beginning of the end for Nagi and her friends' childhood, and a fantastic end it shall be. So look forward to that on my channel. Should be out in a week or two.
It says 7 by 5 by 16 inches. That doesn't sound right.
That's
16
odd.
massive.
Yeah.
Okay, so I couldn't find where the text was like in the middle of the bubble, but here are some examples of the text kind of being weirdly placed.
Yeah.
So this is one of the first ones. It's just her saying "I'm sorry," and it takes up 2 bubbles, and it's I don't know.
I thought it was like "I'm sorry," like it's
yeah. And then I just don't know if I like the font choice on these. Like it looks a little Comic Sans-y.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
But also just some other like weirdly. There's this one right here.
Yeah.
Where it just doesn't look like it's placed correctly.
It makes it also look like scans.
Yeah. Like the way that it's placed looks like scans. So like this one right here where he's sitting and he says, well,
God,
there's
so
the staff, the bow. Like it's just very weirdly placed. And then I have one more. This one's like a little off center.
I really don't like. I apologize if it's not true, but I feel like that's a symptom that you see from AI.
Oh.
But
the back. I'm just seeing who's the translator on
I
this.
will say it's
if it's
also similar to how a lot of early 2000s lettering was done. Like
Mhm.
when I, and this was already a few years ago, but like when I compared the first omnibus of Shaman King to the first volume of the Shonen Jump print, the Shonen Jump print had like that type of issue with things fitting weirdly and spaced out weirdly in the word bubbles. So it is possible that it's like not an AI issue.
Yeah.
But it sucks that we're at the point in reality where like we have to consider that.
It definitely could. Yeah.
But it's either that or it's an untrained person or a rush job.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the whole volume is just very like weirdly placed text in these bubbles.
Yeah.
Like even like this right here looks like a scan translation. I don't know. I was pretty disappointed in the lettering job.
That is not going to get nominated for an American Manga Award. Sorry.
I'm looking at the first volume, and it does have translated by, but
Yeah.
it doesn't say who it's lettered by.
Yeah, I noticed that too because I just saw the translator, but I didn't see letterer. It was just translator and editor.
So it is possible that the editor or the letterer, or not the letterer, the editor or the translator are also the letterer.
Yeah.
That's also a possibility. Like it seems like there's a possibility that someone's doubling up on their job. And if that's the case, that would explain why it might have had to have been a rush job.
Yeah.
I know who it was. It was Akira Yoshida.
AKA C.
That's a reference for all you Marvel heads out there. Okay. Interesting. I didn't haul anything, so sorry about that to let everybody down. I did haul stuff, but I don't got anything. Nothing has arrived. Sorry.
That's the way it is.
Yeah. So before we move on to the main topic, main discussion, which is very interesting, I want to get to that. Let's just go through the solicits real quick, if that's okay with all of you. Which do you want to tackle first, Yen Press or Kodansha?
So there was also Square Enix.
Oh, there was Square too. I forgot about that.
And there were two things, I guess, by Viz.
Let me pull those up.
The Viz, it's just two things, and we can go over those really quickly. But I wanted to make sure, because I don't know if I'm going to do a video myself on my channel, but I wanted to make sure that we at least mention one of those, because it was not, they did nothing to promote it.
That it was very weird. I was not a fan of how they did it. But go ahead. Yeah, do it.
So the first thing from Viz was, I forget the title, Kamuto from Akira Himekawa, which is the team of like two ladies, I believe, behind the Legend of Zelda manga. And this is going to be similar to Spider-Man, or the Ultraman Along Came a Spider-Man, where they announced the digital, like, I believe it's a simulpub digitally with Shogakukan's online service in Japan. So yeah, as Alex pointed out, it should be available to read right now, like the first 2 chapters, I think, or like 1.1, 1.2, I think is how they dropped it. That one, since it's being done the same way as that Ultraman Spider-Man, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the physical license come up pretty soon, like in the next round or 2 of announcements. Especially because those Zelda manga seem to do pretty well for Viz, given they gave box sets to both of the different ones. I would assume so. The other one was Yaiba, because as it was announced months ago, that series, the one that Gosho Aoyama did before Detective Conan or Case Closed, is getting an anime. And so Viz announced that they have acquired the distribution rights or whatever for the anime, but at the same time, they mentioned that they are also going to be publishing the manga physically, and they did so no press release,
Nothing.
nothing. They just, at the same time as mentioning the anime is coming, they dropped in there, read the manga July 2025. Like, read physically in July 20. Like, they did not do anything for it. They didn't post a picture of the cover. Nothing. Apparently they did mention it also at the convention, like on their panel. I don't know what they said. Like, I never saw a quote, but
Copyright. Sorry.
that's that was the first tweet about it, and then the second one was where it also said, "Read the manga July."
Here it is.
In print.
Read
July.
it in print, July 2025. And I went like, what? Wait a minute.
I like Will sent that to us on Discord, Colleen and I, and I thought that he was just saying like, hey, they got the anime. And I was like, yeah, they'll probably announce the manga pretty soon if the anime does well. And he's like, no, dude, and like showed me it said read it in print. And I was like, what the hell?
That's very lazy, if I may.
Really weird. And because what you looked at from Anime News Network, it took its source from Deb, like at the panel, and from Twitter. That means that they didn't send a PR email. They didn't send anything out to let people know, hey, this is coming. Which is such a weird, like, just toss it out there, just putting it. And you know, like, the strangest thing is, like, whenever they do these between event announcements, like between their licensing events, those announcements are always tiny. Like, they never make a big deal out of it, and people always forget that it's happening or just never heard that it was happening, which, like, the Magic the Gathering manga was one that was between events, and so many people were like, wait, that's a thing that's happening, that's coming out? Didn't even know.
I thought they were going to do the Moan Ito collection announcement.
Yeah, I did too. Since that was in the
we could get a bingo.
Yeah,
we got October. You would think like, hey, let's save the Ito announcement for closer to Halloween. Blah blah blah. Nope. So if you guys don't know, in the latest Ito book, which is what is it? It's not a novel. It's
Uncanny.
But it's a novel, right?
It's a like an autobiography.
Autobiography. Thank you.
It's like him talking about his career and like where his ideas come from and stuff like that.
So towards the end, it has like a little index of his works, and at the bottom it says Moan Junji Ito short story collection coming in 2025. So I guess we know one of the books that's coming out for him. One of the few remaining Ito collections coming out. So shout out to Viz. Fantastic marketing right there. Strategies. So exemplary.
It's so weird because they do so much marketing for so many things. They pay for advertisements, like on websites, on
literally on the left right there. You have the Vampire Night box set.
That's paid marketing right there. But for some reason, they didn't even do a dedicated post or show an image from the manga. They literally just tacked it on with the anime.
Gotta mute this. Hold on. I can show you like this. We'll be fine. With studios doing it, I am so excited. I'm a fan of this series, so I'm super hyped up for it.
Is
Yay.
Conan guy just the writer? Because this is his art style.
Yeah, he's the artist and writer.
Yeah.
Oh, how does he do that along with Conan? Jeez.
No, this
one ended.
Oh, so this is before Conan.
Yeah,
1988.
Oh,
he does do a couple of Conan spin-offs, but they're not like continuously published.
Yeah.
So one of them is what's the character's name? Kaito Kid or whatever?
I think so. Yeah.
And then the other one I think is focused on one of the detectives. I don't remember if he does the art on both of them, but they are like sporadically published in Sunday, in I think weekly. Both have been in Weekly Sunday.
So real quick.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. No,
I think you were gonna say what I was gonna mention. So go ahead.
That this came out in the 80s, 24 volumes, and the previous anime is pretty. It's a classic, underrated classic for a lot of old school anime fans, And I do remember back in the day, not necessarily watching the whole thing, but seeing some of it. So I am excited to watch the this new reboot. I would recommend the reboot and picking up the book as well.
I was just gonna say I did not realize this was gonna be a remake.
Yeah,
Because I'd never heard of this series. So
series follows Yaiba Kurogane, a young samurai boy inspired by Miyamoto Musashi, the real-life swordsman. But let me show you an image of the thing. What the hell? Wait a minute. Yaiba, Samurai Legend. There we go. We're going to Google, folks. I hope there's nothing weird here. So this is the art style for the manga. The manga, which, you know, obviously it's case closed, but for Detective Conan.
I do love his art style. I like how cartoony and goofy it looks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this is the original anime from the 90s.
Got it.
I think he has a really good ability to draw very distinct characters as well. Like there are so many characters in Detective Conan or Case Closed, and all of them have like extremely different looks to them, which really helps, as well as their personalities.
Yeah.
Speaking of personalities, no, never mind. It's not time yet for that transition. Sorry. So yeah, Viz did that, and then which was the other one that you wanted to mention?
Square Enix had
Square. What did Square announce? Let me look that up real quick.
9 or so. I don't think there's anything huge.
Oh yes, there's one big Square book that I want to hype up. Sorry, go ahead, keep going.
No, you can go, because I was saying I don't remember there being anything huge, but if there's one that you're excited about, then let's.
Dragon Quest.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was it. They're doing hardcovers, not the same Dragon Quest series.
Not Die, but the adaptation for the first 3 games got a manga release way back, so we're getting that from Square. Let me see if I can find the thing. Do they have a website that I can go to?
Yeah, they have a Square books.
Manga books. There we go. Here it is. There we go. Look at that.
Yeah,
let's go. Mark of Erdrick. Erdrick is the trilogy that happens from Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3, the original Dragon Quest games.
I wonder if I'd have to look into all of their individual licenses, because I want to just immediately assume that Square Enix is only publishing Square Enix books, from Square Enix, the publisher in Japan. Yeah. But I wonder if they could get non-Square Enix licenses, and if so, if they haven't already, and if so, if they could pick up the Dragon Quest Shonen Jump.
Ooh, hell yeah, dude. That'd be great. Please, somebody finish it. So yeah, volume 1 coming out next year, September. It is going to be trade paperback, unfortunately, no hardcover, but I'm cool with. No, sorry, wait. Format trade paperback, but it says hardcover over here. So I don't know. We'll see.
I believe it is supposed to be a hardcover.
And do they have the other stuff? Nope. Just announced. Oh, these are the releases. Okay, so yeah, these are the new ones. Mechanical Buddy Universe 1.0 or 1.0, Volume 1. We got a Soul Eater Soul Art Encore art book.
Very cool. I'm sure.
Mechanical Buddy Universe one shot. Bride of the Death God Volume 1, which got some hype online. A lot of people were excited for that. Exquisite Blood, The Heretic Omnioji Volume 1, and Hollow Earth Chronicles Side E Yamato Fantasia Volume 1. There we go. It's a long title. I believe that was it. So not bad.
Colleen, do you have words about anything here?
The only one I mildly know is Bride of the Death God, and it's just because I read like a little bit of it. I didn't even finish the first chapter, and it's not because I didn't like it or something. I just didn't feel like reading it anymore. But that is the one that a couple of my friends are the most excited about, and the art is just very pretty in it as well. So
Nice.
I don't know much about it other than that, but that's the only one I'd probably be looking forward to myself.
Didn't Square collab with J Novel Club 2 for some manga? I don't know. Do you guys know?
Not off the top of my head. I don't know.
I
Okay.
don't really keep up with Square Enix that much.
Square, because they also, they do video games and stuff. Even though this is not related to that, but they kind of are. Alrighty, let's move on to the next one. You want to do Kodansha or Yen Press?
Let's do Yen first because there's a lot to be said for Kodansha.
Yeah, and I can goof off with Yen because I got some words. So they announced stuff before their panel, which was a Haruhi Suzumiya book, but it's digital only, and we don't care about digital releases. Sorry, you're gonna have to tune into some other podcasts for that. So sorry, Haruhi. The Yen Press did New York Comic Con, and they announced a lot of stuff. The first one here is Summer Hikaru Died, the novel. Is this just one novel, or are there more volumes to it?
I
guess
actually don't know anything about this.
I'm guessing it is just because the way that it was announced made it seem like it's a single volume. But if anyone in the chat knows differently, you can sound off, of course.
Also, pretty cool that it's black compared to the manga, which all the volumes are a particular color. Yeah. This this one was pretty hyped too. If you're a fan of Spice and Wolf, and you were sad that the novel was the one that got like the super omnibus hardcover deluxe extravaganza release, well, you're in luck because they're doing the thing for the manga version of it. So Spice and Wolf Collector's Edition. Find out in this newly released deluxe collector's edition. So I'm pretty sure that's going to look great on your shelf next to the light novels.
If I'm not mistaken, and I could be because I've only seen it in passing, I think the light novel, like super deluxe, was like massive, like way bigger than even like Dark Horse Deluxe Edition books. And so I'm wondering if they're doing this in the same fashion.
I hope so. That'd be great.
If I'm not mistaken, like if they're gonna make it this massive, like huge ass release, though it does, I think there is a volume 1 on the cover, so I'm guessing it's not supposed to be an all-in-one, which would have been impressive because it's like 16 volumes long.
Gotcha. Next one I am super excited for is Bocchi the Rock side story, Kikuri Hiroi's Heavy Drinking Diary. This is a spin-off of Bocchi the Rock following this particular character. She happens to be my favorite character from Bocchi, so I am super excited, and I will support this release.
Do you know if that one is also a 4-koma?
I think it's not. I may be wrong.
Okay.
But I think this is just a regular manga.
Nice.
Also coming out, Spy Classroom, second period, Daughter Dearest. I've seen Spy Classroom, the anime, but I've not read the manga, unfortunately, or the light novels. So that's pretty cool. Doodles by Ryoko Kui, Daydream Hour. So this is like a combination of like portfolio work and art book, right?
I believe it. So what's the description say? And I almost bought a copy of the Japanese edition when I was at Anime NYC.
Featuring blah, 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 blah. Author of Delicious and Dungeon comes a lush compilation of artwork drawn over the course of the hit series creation, featuring hundreds of pages of comics, sketches, and full-color illustrations. This gorgeous collection will help you discover new sides to your favorite characters as they are depicted in situations you've never seen before. So it's a mix of everything, from what I can...
Like H. Field said, I was also confident that we'd get this in English at some point, so that's why I passed on it. and I'm glad that I did, because I was like, this is gonna happen. And I think I even said that before. Like, you might have been the one that brought it up, H-Field, in the show, and I was like, that's probably gonna happen.
Nice. LFG, I'm super hyped for Daydream Hour. And yes, a homegirl here is an alcoholic. That's one of her faults or tropes or crutches. I don't know. This juice box is not juice. It's straight up alcohol and sake in a juice box. And she's a bassist. I used to play the bass. That's my favorite instrument. So we connect. Let's go. Before the show ends, if you can remind me, there is a statue that they're putting out in Japan. I think it's going to come over here as well, of this character, and it looks amazing. And she's playing similar to this pose where she's playing the bass guitar. I'll show that off towards the end. Moving on to the funniest solicit from the past weekend, because I did not expect in a million years that Yen Press would be the one to get this title. Here we have Reincarnation Coliseum. The weakest skill conquers the strongest women and creates a harem. This is a big personality book. I cannot lie. As soon as I saw this, I'm like, that's our thumbnail for the video. Yes, I am a sucker for clickbait, so I will do it. Sue me. So what the hell is this about? High schooler Koji Mikagami is painfully average in every way except when he's playing. Of course. Except when he's playing video games. So getting summoned to a magical world and granted the ability to copy his opponent's skills should be his way to the top. But before he gets the chance, he's thrown into a coliseum as a combat slave for his trash tier skill. In the midst of his despair, he realizes only one path remains open to him: beat down the strongest girls with the weakest skill and make a name for himself. And there is a lot of boobage to this book. It's an adult manga, but it doesn't technically, it's not a hentai. You don't see stuff down below.
Has this been animated yet?
No, unfortunately.
Incoming.
Fortunately for some people, I don't know.
It's probably happening now. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I could see that happening. But what a weird choice. I thought this might have been a ghost ship book. Let's be honest. Because, so shout out. Okay, cool. Why does this feel like every isekai ever?
Literally.
Every isekai, giant boobs and beating up women.
Yeah, and the guy is average and he just likes playing video games. Just like me for real. I love beating up women.
In Coliseum combat, hopefully. Not in like outside.
Sure, Gio.
The next one is the BS situation of Togetsu Umidori. This is actually, I have not read the descriptions for most of these, so I apologize. This is about Togetsu suddenly receiving a mysterious request from Nada, a classmate she's rather close with. Little does she know, however, that this is only the beginning of a series of bizarre events. Soon after, an enigmatic girl in a cat hoodie shows up at the household calling herself BS. Thanks to her, all manner of strange things happen, including toilet borrowing, betrayal, threats, a grapple of freedom, and finally a desperate plea for mercy. Once everything is over, the strange girl asks, "Hey, will you kill the lies with me?" And without knowing why, Umidori joins in on her quest. So I saw some people excited for it, but I had never heard of this one before, so I don't know. I do like the cat hoodie, though. It's cute.
What was the title? I want to look it up real quick.
The BS situation of Togetsu Umidori.
Okay.
Bullshit the manga.
Weird names lately, because I read, I talked about on my channel Blood and Bastard from Yen Press, and the girl in that manga is called Garbage.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's happening there with all the names now.
This one is not a GL, apparently.
Okay.
It's not a GL.
I was looking to see if it was, because it sounds like it has GL potential, but
you know what I think it has potential for? One of these two characters is going to have a psychotic breakdown and will murder a bunch of people in this book. I guarantee you. And it might be the girl with the hoodie.
Okay.
If she's borrowing a toilet, I could see that happening too. I don't know. That's just a hunch. I could be wrong.
So GL potential, like idol story.
Yeah, but with murder and
murderous intent GL potential.
Yes.
You love to
Also
see.
coming out, Tamaki and Amane. This is by Fumi Yoshinaga. Family, romance, friendship, endless relationships tether us to the people we love, from the Edo period to modern day Japan, the post-war era to the 70s. Tamaki and Amane's fates intertwine time and time again.
Same mangaka as Oku and
nice.
Antique Bakery. All my darling daughters. This is a recent kind of collected short story series from her, so
cool.
Excited to get it. Always love to see. Was I right in saying Antique Bakery as well, or did I just mean to say what did you eat yesterday?
I only knew the other two that you mentioned. I wasn't familiar.
No, yeah.
You might have meant to say that one.
Yeah, I meant the eating together one.
Oh, Antique Bakery.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so what did you eat yesterday is the one that I was thinking of, but also Antique Bakery.
Yes, she did do it. Okay, yeah, I'm looking at it now.
She's done so much. But yeah, I love her work, so just happy to get anything from her, and especially when it's from like a Josei magazine.
Everybody get it. Buy it.
Everyone get it.
Everyone buy this book.
This next one is The 31st Consort by all these people. No lady wants to be chosen as the unfortunate 31st consort candidate. After all, being the lowest rank means only one chance to see the king every few months. That's perfect for Feria. Feria? I don't know. Though, hailing from the far remote territory of the kingdom and uninterested in marriage, she'd much rather tend to her lovely herb garden than vie for favor. But when the inevitable visit on the 31st comes, what's to become of her romance? So there you go. That one's coming out as well. That's an which one, Secret Mindsman? The previous one or this one? Buy both. Buy them all. Don't worry about it.
Everything.
Yeah, buy everything. Even the Colosseum Boo. The next one. To Sir, Without Love, I'm Divorcing You. Fumi's book. Gotcha. This is One Day by Bayonetta is supposed to meet her husband to be. The man's gone off to war. 8 years later, and as she's enjoying her spouse's married life, Bayonetta receives news that he is set to return. Determined to keep her man-freed lifestyle, she sends a divorce letter. But the man, whom she still hasn't met, responds with an outrageous wager to sleep together for a month, and she's free to go if she doesn't conceive.
Insane.
That's an insane proposal. Holy shit.
Also, I kind of love how both of these like romantasy books are like, I was happy without the guy, but I guess but I guess it's fine if you want to romance me.
It's weird though that they're like, let's sleep together for a month and you have to stay with me if you have a baby. Like, fuck you, dude.
That's called abuse.
Bye Bye Earth, which has a manga and an anime, but this is the novel of Bye Bye Earth. Without taking a look here, it's a world with anthropomorphic animals, and she's one of the few or only humans. She doesn't have fur or anything, so she's considered an outcast. It's weird. I don't know. I didn't like the anime, but I've heard that the novel's good, so you proceed with caution. I don't know.
As you were.
Whoa, I did not look at this before reading it. Okay. All right. This is in competition with the Colosseum. The Ragnarok system of the desperate reincarnated demon lord and the 7 aggressive maidens. That's a long-ass title. Rintaro, renowned hero. I can't read that. Okay. who helped save Japan from being taken over by demons, has become an unconfident university student, of course. Though he still has his incredible abilities, there's one thing he doesn't have: a girlfriend. Pfft, loser. But one day, a princess suddenly approaches him and asks to be his wife, his girlfriend, or even his friends with benefits.
Whoa.
Whoa! All right, Pikachu face. Okay. The next one is Desperate March for Love. I don't know what the plot is, but I do like this cover. I love the character designs. It's cute. Hey, wanna try going out with me? Rei has feelings for Ami, a girl in her class who's always been kind to her. So when she confesses to Ami, she fully expects to get turned down until Ami says she likes her back. But now that they're officially a couple, Ami seems a little off. She's going to murder somebody? While Rei is head over heels for her, Ami is a player who isn't even sure how to love just one person. Rei is crushed by Ami's seemingly careless approach to their relationship. But even so, she won't give up. Will Rei's earnest but cumbersome feelings for Ami win out in the end, or is the girl she loves simply too far out of reach? I'm annoyed that there's no murder in this one. That'd be a cool twist for a love story.
Damn it, no murder.
She's a little way off. Oh, she's a serial murderer? Okay, let's try and rehabilitate this person or something. I don't know.
This one is a Yuri, so we got our Yuri manga here.
Not Yuri potential, just straight up.
Straight up Yuri.
Yeah. She reminds me of the girl that can't find her glasses.
You're right.
Yeah. Next up, we got some bondage. All right, not safe for work. Jesus. Phantom Invasion. I'm sorry. This is more risque than this thing. Where is it? Than this thing. But I know that this is worse. I just want to point that out there to give this the benefit.
I feel like they're equal, but like for different reasons.
Yes, you're exactly right.
That's why I'm like, I feel like they're just the same.
This one is, what the hell is this? Ryo wakes up one day to find himself transported to another world full of monster girls. Oh no. Although their power far surpasses that of any humans, Ryo has his own ability to the charm skill, oh god, which forcibly increases his affection level with all monster girls. Using this skill, he seduces all kinds of monster girls and builds a harem to get revenge on all the fantastical creatures that attacked and brought his home to ruin.
You're saying, oh no, because you know you gotta buy it now, Gio.
Why did I admit to enjoying Monster Girl books?
Don't pretend you don't want to get it, Gio. It's right up your alley.
I'll find out more about it. If it's not too problematic, I'll give it a read. If Yen Press wants to send me a copy, then yes, I'll read it.
Yen Press, send Gio a copy of all your monster books.
Let's manifest that. I like this comment. Yep, that's definitely a manga. Next up on the list, Stardust Family. This is a JoJo spinoff. I'm kidding. In a future world, children hold the authority to determine who may become parents. Having children is illegal unless a couple first passes a strict examination conducted by a child that certifies them as capable providers. Veritable. How do I pronounce this?
Veritable.
Veritable? Okay. Utopia with no child abuse, or at least so it may seem. Hikari is one such examiner in this system, spending his days evaluating prospective parents, but one day he comes across a couple that isn't quite like the others. They're murderers. You don't see their iris, so I'm pretty sure they murder people. And he's gonna be Detective Conan and get their asses.
It is actually Jotaro Kujo when he's younger, before
when he's younger.
Of Stardust Crusaders.
Conducted by a child. That's gonna go wrong fast.
It'll be fine. We'll be good.
be
Oh, God.
fine.
Oh, God.
Personality.
More titties.
my
Let's go.
What is happening here? The Empress is embracing their spice levels or
Their
whatever.
inner gooner is what they're doing.
What is happening here? Why is that
This-
skull person
This
there?
was published right next to Berserk.
Is it? Oh, Young Animal.
This was published right next to Berserk, and March comes in like a lion.
You go from like demon fantasy battle with guts, and then into this thing with the boobs, and then in the other one with some shogi.
Yeah,
And then you
round it out.
the
Just like that boob.
random pictures of women in bikinis.
This is the skeleton enchanted by the cursed blade, the greatest demon lord who conquers the dungeon and commands an invincible army. Out of all the horrors born in the labyrinth, skeletons are the weakest. In a world where the strongest prey on the weak, one skeleton has no choice but to always run from danger, until a fateful encounter with a sentient cursed blade gives him unfathomable abilities. From Nozomi Ginyoku, the author of I'm a Behemoth, comes the unlikely story of one monster's rise to the top. Okay, fine, but why this? What? Nowhere in the plot description do we get any mention of this girl. What is happening?
Because she's just a pair of boobies. She doesn't matter.
She's the poster child for the book, so you
Probably
can buy.
doesn't. She probably the skeleton probably axes her in half right at the beginning.
That could be a fun way to like, oh shit, plot twist. If I Google I'm a Behemoth, is that the one with the cat on top of the boobies?
I believe so.
Let me Google it off air. Hold on.
Once again, boobies.
Yeah,
Once
that's the
again,
one.
boobies.
I'm a Behemoth manga. Yep,
It's-
that's the one. All right.
This
one.
These things get licensed for two reasons. Number one, because they do sell, and number two, because the people who license them think that they're hilarious.
The guy that made this thing, which
Just
It is
as
what
long
it
as they use that money that they get from that
Right? For
to
good
make
stuff.
something good.
I was talking to one of our friends earlier who works in anime, and
This
they were
one.
telling me that they don't even have to advertise for any of their horny stuff, and they automatically without advertising, people gravitate to those things on their program or on their service.
It's like a field of dreams. If you license it, they will come.
If you have titties,
Literally.
I wasn't gonna go that route, but okay, go. So shout out
Okay.
to Skeleton. So yeah, this is the same writer as this one. I've always remembered this one because of the cat on top of the personalities over there.
Between the boobs. Yeah, I remember seeing that one before because the cat's literally shoved in between, and there's the armor keeping it together. I don't know how her arms fit up like that around her boobs with how big they are.
How can she? Does she fight? Does she win? I don't know.
I don't know. Also, that was that cat was a Majin cat.
Yeah.
Had a big M on it.
If you have biddies on the title, they will come. The next one is actually some good stuff right here. A Witch's Life in Mongol. In the harem of the Khan, wisdom is beauty. The time, the 13th century. The place, here. The greatest empire the world has ever known. The woman, Fatima, hailing from Persia, where medical technique and scientific knowledge have been perfected beyond all precedent. Fatima's desire for a stage where she can put her knowledge to work has brought her to the palace of the Mongols, where she falls under the wing of this person, the sixth wife of this person, and the second great Khan, a mighty woman with complicated feelings about the direction of the empire. These two women are the axle upon which the politics of the palace, and soon the very world, will turn. Now, this is some good stuff right there. Reading that description, I'm like, horny skeleton boy.
For anyone who's a fan of Bride's Story, you'll probably enjoy this one. The art is absolutely gorgeous. Oh, or if you're a fan of Gold Kingdom and Water Kingdom, if you read that manga.
I have that one. That was great. Yeah.
Yeah. The setting is like somewhat similar, kind of like West Asian, but I'm very excited for this one. I really don't know that much about it other than our mutual friend Fatima read the first volume and did like a really in-depth review and everything on it. But very excited for this one. I think it was #1 on the Konoga Sugoi rankings in the women's category. So
nice.
Only 3 volumes out so far too, and it's still ongoing. So
if they wanted to, they could have done it. Well, if it's ongoing, never mind. I was going to suggest like a 3-in-1, but
yeah, they would only have 1 volume so far.
Yeah. Also reviewed this the second volume. Nice.
Let's go, Fatima.
Oh my God! Wait a minute. Hold on. Give me a second. Okay. Never mind. I thought I had closed something. And anyways, the next one. I think we're nearly done. The 13th Footprint. Following their son's Ao's release from the hospital. Ao. Toya and Haru were all ready to start a new life with him in the picturesque new home, but that was before the postcards arrived. Each postcard details an event, one that won't happen until the next day. Follow this family on an adventure to unravel the mystery, stopping to help everyone they can along the way. I'm making fun of this description, but it actually sounds really cool. I want to check it out.
This is the creator of Erased.
Oh, you got me. I want to check it out. I hope there's murder in here. There's no murder in any of these books. I'm excited for that. Sorry. I'll check it out.
There might be.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, they got to save some people before they get axed. Let's go.
I'm pretty sure there's some murder in... Is it the next one? Yeah.
Kindergarten Wars, which for the longest time, I thought this was going to be a Viz book, but it didn't happen. Yen Press picked it up. Shout out to Yen Press. Hey, Warren's excited.
I'm wondering if, because I remember on one of the streams that we did, someone mentioned like maybe Viz isn't getting it because it's like weapons, like guns and stuff in a school. And there might have been a sensitivity on that issue, and maybe they just were like, we're not going to touch that. And Yen came in and got it instead.
Like, nah, dude, we're good.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Like the way that it works for like publishers in the US, like Yen with Kadokawa, Kodansha with Kodansha, and Viz with Shueisha, Shogakukan, Hakusensha, and Shudensha, like they get the first right to refusal. So if another publisher approaches, whether it be an indie publisher like Seven Seas or someone else, they're like basically like, we want I believe this is Shueisha, like Yen was like, hey, we're interested in Kindergarten Wars, and Shueisha would be like, Viz, do you want it? And then so Viz literally would have had to pass on it.
Yeah.
From what I understand from people that work in the industry.
This character, I don't know the series. I know about it, but I haven't read it. This character looks like the bad guy from Chainsaw Man, but also Miss Kobayashi from Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. What I'm getting at is that all three look alike, which is
Kobayashi.
Yeah. Which blew my mind. If you look at Miss Kobayashi, and if you look at what's the name of the woman from Chainsaw Man? Makima. If you look at the two, they're literally the same character. Just one is like chibi form, the other one's like super serious, realistic design. And they both work at government or like offices. So Kindergarten Wars, Rita is Convict 999, former legendary assassin who now works at a kindergarten for the children of world leaders. Her job is to protect the school children from the clutches of would-be assassins sent after them. But even with her overwhelming strength, Rita has a weakness. She's head over heels for good-looking men. Shout out. Rita. That's how, if I were an assassin, I would do intel and send like hot guys to weaken her, and that way we can get the kids.
Only the hottest of men.
Yeah, send the snipers. Also coming out, a horror collector, not collection. This is by Nico Yuki. The internet is full of creepypastas, cryptid sightings, tales of paranormal activity, and unsolved disappearances. These are mostly rumors and pranks fueled by trolls, entertainment. But the unlucky few learn the hard way that some legends are true. Many of these unfortunate souls are doomed, but their luck may change if they cross paths with the boy in the red hood, Jason Todd. He roams from town to town and appears wherever strange things occur. Is he a light in the dark, or living proof that monsters are all too real?
He's like the Hood
from Marvel.
I
like the premise. I dig it. I'll check it out.
I hope Slender Man shows up.
And yeah, you could do Slender Man. You can do even a version of Turbo Granny. That's also a modern
yokai.
Yokai, yeah. Stuff like that. You can do the tall ghost lady that 2chan likes to talk about, or whatever the Japanese word is.
Oh, okay. So this sounded familiar. It's a novel series under
J Novel Club?
Not J Novel Club, but JY, I think is what it's
called.
Oh,
yeah. They're
the Young imprint. And this is the manga adaptation of that.
Now if Yen could give us Witch Watch too.
I mean, why not try? We can
go for it.
Submit it. Does Yen have a submissions thing?
I don't know.
If they do Yen and Seven Seas, you could ask them. But H-Field asked, when's a publisher considered indie? Because in my mind, Seven Seas isn't an indie. It's Seven Seas is independently owned and operated by the owner, Jason DeAngelis. Like, that is not owned by a Japanese publisher. It's not like Dark Horse Manga is under Dark Horse, which is under Embracer Group. There are different like publishers that are imprints of existing publishers, are owned by bigger companies, funded by bigger companies. Like Seven Seas is completely independent. So they're the biggest independent publisher. And then others would be like, Starfruit, I guess technically Denpa, they're just part of like the umbrella under Faku, stuff like that. So yeah, that's why Seven Seas, despite the fact that they are as large as they are and have as many books as they do, they are independent.
Thank you. That's very true. So, thoughts? You guys think this was a good round of announcements for them?
The fact that we got Witch's Life in Mongol means that it's a W across the board. I don't even care about the horny manga.
I think super solid. Like, there's definitely something for everyone. Several things that I am excited about and things that I am intrigued by. And then there's the stuff that I don't care about, but I know that that's stuff that is intriguing for other people, and that's all that matters. I think it was a very solid round. I think they did a great job.
Nice.
If the booby mangas can fund the licensing for Witch's Life in Mongol,
like this, yeah, go for it.
Let's go. Give us.
I mean, if it ain't hurting anybody, go grab it, enjoy it, and stuff. Whatever. We like to goof and gaff around here, so you do you, viewer.
I think there's like two times when I've outright been like offended by booby manga, and one of them was Booty Royale, and then the other one was Game of Familia, and and I just was like, gross, and then I put it down, and that was it. Like, I didn't put up a fight or anything, but like everything else, it's usually pretty stupid and funny.
Yeah. So bingo. This is not an announcement from last weekend, but I did want to point this out.
Yes.
Fantagraphics is going to release Shintaro Kago's Brain Damage. So if you're a fan of Kago, then this is a book for you to get. I'm not big on the creator, so I'll pass, but I know it has a huge fan base. So yeah, shout out. All right, Kodansha.
Here we go.
Oh boy, here we go. So they did the thing Sunday, right? New print and digital manga licenses revealed at NYCC. There's a bunch here.
I think they were the last ones to go.
Save the best for last, they probably thought, quote unquote. I'm not gonna read any of this. You can read it if you want. Pause it. I don't know. Screenshot it. New and notable print announcements. All right, let's do this. The first thing was that Kodansha is going to publish new volumes of Blue Lock every month starting July 2025, obviously to catch up with the Japanese release. Starting in July, Kodansha will release one print volume of Blue Lock every month until we're caught up with the Japanese release.
How many volumes are there?
I think it's about 30.
Jesus.
Let me double check real quick.
That's not that bad. I was
Also,
thinking, because I don't know, it feels like that's not, like, you don't really have to go that fast to catch up in 10 volumes, but
I don't think that Blue Lock is great and it has a huge fan base, but I don't see the rush and like hype that like when Demon Slayer was coming out and everybody was so excited that you felt that hype that everybody wanted to get it month after month. For Blue Lock, I don't see that personally, even though I know it's a good series.
They just released 15, I think, this week. If I'm not mistaken, I might be.
Okay, so the volume 20 is from their digital release.
And there's 31 as of last week in Japan. So they do have a decent amount to catch up on.
Got it.
But is that are they publishing in print or is it just digital that they're doing that?
Oh, that's a good question.
I think it's print.
Print volume.
One print volume.
I wanted to make sure because on the next one, apparently the next announcement was not all that it seemed it would be.
Dun, dun, dun. Due to popular demand and on the heels of the fan favorite Apple Plus live action drama, The Drops of God returns to store shelves with Kodansha's original 2-in-1 omnibus editions being reprinted. So tell me about it. What makes you think this is not what it seems to be?
The initial assumption is, they're bringing it back in 2-in-1s, and they were going to go through the entirety of at least the original 44 volume series. But someone on Twitter asked and was like, wait, is this just a reprint of the previous like 5 2-in-1s that y'all did? And Kodansha said, yes, this is a reprint.
So maybe they want to see if it sells.
Yeah.
If the 2-in-1, the reprints do well enough to continue it.
So that's obviously a possibility, but it's just weird that I don't know, like they could have not been clear or something, but the way it makes it sound, because they didn't respond whenever that person was like, if it sells well, maybe they'll do more. All they said was, yes, this is a reprint. So as it stands now, it seems that this is actually just going to be like the first, I think it was like the first 8 volumes and then a couple of volumes in the 20s and then like a spin-off volume or something like that.
Oof.
So like 5 or 6 volumes total, 2-in-1s total.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, but that's how it stands now. As it stood, this would have been my most what I was most excited for. But depending on how they handle that, we'll see.
Have you watched the adaptation, by the way, of the series?
Mm-mm.
I heard it's good. I had a couple people in my Discord who I think said they watched it.
Okay. I don't have Apple TV, so I don't, but I'm interested. I would like to watch it.
So, and H-Field said that makes sense. It does. This makes sense more than the thing that we're going to go off about later. For them to go at a license as big as that by testing the waters first makes more sense than just not doing anything at all.
Yeah. Okay, next one. Let's keep going. This listing confused the hell out of me. Perfect for horror fans and aficionados, Barnes & Noble is partnering with Kodansha to release an exclusive variant edition of Koji Suzuki's chilling hit novel, The Ring, featuring all new art, blah, 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 to mimic the TV, VHS, blah, 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 whatever. I thought we were getting a new edition, not that they're just announcing a partnership with Barnes & Noble. I don't have a Barnes & Noble, so I can't get this unless I bother somebody to grab it. I thought we were just getting this everywhere for people.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I like the idea that it's in the shape of a VHS box. That's cool. Or VHS tape, sorry.
I do think the way that they, because I don't remember how they announced it when they were at their panel, but I do think the way that they announced these first few, because they're all just like, they're all not new. They're just announcements.
Yeah.
I think that confused a lot of people. And I think they should have like explained what like the first set of things would be a little better.
Yeah.
Because all of these are just like updates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Next to that is Toto-chan, the little girl at the window, the sequel, the novel. I'm not going to read all of this. I'm sorry. I'm late. I'm tired.
Guinness
already.
World Record.
Guinness World Records, 2023. Most copies published for an autobiographical memoir by a single author, and most TV talk show episodes hosted by the same presenter, Tetsuko Nohaya. Talk show. All right, shout out. That serves no purpose for people outside of Japan, but okay. So you can read here, World War II. So I know it's going to be like super sad and dramaful. Okay. Shout out to Toto-chan. Hope you're all right. And then they break off those announcements for upcoming digital licenses, which I thought was really weird too. The placement of this. I thought this would be at the end. As the Gods Will, which I'm annoyed it's not physical, but whatever. You can read the chapter here.
Digital version, and maybe they'll do the physical.
I'm not gonna buy it. Sorry. India, Calling Me Now by Terako Shima. Have not heard of this one. So then we finally get into the fall 2025 new print licenses. The first one here is Welcome to Demon School Irumakun Iru Mafia Edition. Haha, wink wink. Get ready to meet the lovable cast of Welcome to Demon School Irumakun as you've never seen them before. Brand new spin-off of the hit series. So it's a spin-off. Alternate versions of these characters as mafiosos.
Good.
Hey, Toodle's excited. That's good.
Good.
Okay. Do I keep going? Anybody want to add anything to this?
Mm.
Oh,
Good.
we're good.
Good.
Shout out. And then she does Little Big World by Yuki Kamba. Or Kamba. Cheetah, Nala live happily inside a hollowed out log with their fellow little folk who stand no taller than a blade of grass. When Nala runs off on one day to investigate a mysterious smoke signal, Cheetah must summon all his wit and courage as he sets off in pursuit. Rats, ants, weasels, giants. The wide world is full of dangers, but the plucky Cheetah will stop at nothing to find his friend. A charming new adventure manga for young readers and teens alike. Okay, sounds cute.
Huzzah.
Then we got A Curtain Call for You by Shiho Sato, the art by Kiki Emoda. Shy Mousy Sakura is content to keep her adventures confined to the pages of her notebook until the brash, outgoing new transfer student Tsubame Hiragi gets her hands on it, that is. The two secretly share the stories Sakura spins, but soon that secret proves too big to keep, and Tsubame whisks Sakura into a glittering world where she could have never imagined. As Sakura learns to be confident in who she is and ignored what others think. Tsubame learns to go below the surface and dig deep for emotional truths that may have eluded her. Together, they learn about art, love, truth, and most of all, the theater.
This is our one Yuri from Kodansha.
Just the one, right?
Just the one. And then HBO said that it's going to be canceled in the third volume if it doesn't sell better, apparently.
Oh my
so
God. Yay! Oh
I'm
man!
so glad they gave us the Yuri manga that's going to be canceled soon.
Okay, maybe they got it for cheap because it's going to be over. So they're like, "Yeah, you bought all this, you get a freebie." There you go.
Well, I will check it out.
Didn't know at the time of licensing.
Well, yeah. It's just funny that like the one Yuri they get this round is the one that's possibly going to be canceled.
It's gotta be a swift kick to the nuts, though. Like they're like excited about it, like people internally, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh God,
Fuck.
This reminds me of when my local mall was very excited when they got Circuit City, and then a month after opening, hey, Circuit City is going bankrupt nationwide. So by legal terms or whatever, they had to open the store. So it stayed open for a full month, and then it shut down. So towards the final day, I remember going in and bought everything. Like everything was like 90% off, clearance sale, only a month in. That was insane.
And they must have had pretty like good stock too if they were only a month old. They probably had like all new stuff.
All the TVs and computers and games and CDs and all the stuff. I remember going in and buying a bunch of CDs because at the time I was like super into music CDs and hauled a pretty good batch. Next one. You Can't Bluff the Sharp-Eyed Sister. This is by Natsu Hyuga of the Hyuga clan from Naruto. And art by Yo Asami.
Oh, this is Apothecary Diaries author.
Character designs by Chiho Shinichi.
Something looks familiar.
In a sleepy countryside church, Chloe plays the part of a prim and naive novice studying to become a priestess, but when night falls, she sneaks out in disguise to win big money at cards. Okay, shout out. I'm not going to read that. If you did this, I'm not going to read this. New fantasy mystery manga from the creator of Apothecary Diaries. That's cool. Next up, we got My Instructor Won't Yield by Deme Kingyobachi.
Sure.
Sounds like a made-up name.
Probably is. Our
mutual friend Lex is very excited for this one.
Quirky, sweet BL romance that will have you turning the page at full throttle. You're going to break off the page. Because it's so fast. Oh my God. I already lost the page. Chiba's kind manner, clear guidance, and pretty face easily make him the favorite instructor of every female student at the driving school where he works. But while he'll play up his charms to get good reviews, Chiba is diligent about politely but firmly rejecting any romantic gestures or advances that may come his way. His well-crafted persona is put to the test when he is matched with the mysterious Yao Tome, a new student gaining a reputation of his own as the sharp-suited prince. Despite his cool looks and demeanor, Yao Tome can hardly compose himself when Chiba begins their lesson. Is it just nerves, or is there something more to it?
I think it might be something more.
No.
Love.
No.
Romance.
This art on the cover looks adorable. So
that's fun. Yeah,
I'm probably going to get this one.
Cool. The next one is Shoot Juliet Down by Komachi Katsura. This is, let's see, amidst the dark glamour of host club Velvet Kiss, Yuri, also called Juliet, commands a vice-like grip on the number one position. Impressed by this poker face beauty's supreme reign, newbie and number two host Akatsuki decides he must learn Juliet's secrets and shoot him down from the top of the pack. But Akatsuki's first up close taste, of Juliet's intoxicating charm leaves him craving more than he expected. And as he may soon learn, some secrets are better left in their bottles, and the bullet that shoots through one heart might take out more than it bargained for. So Shout out to Shoot Juliet Down. You guys know about this one?
No, but I thought the artwork looked like really, really good.
I like the vibes. I dig it. Yeah. This I am impressed by. I dug this one. Nezumi's First Love by Riku Oseto. Here's the sweet, bloody Yakuza love story we've all been waiting for. Nezumi was raised by the mob to be an emotionless killing machine, but a chance encounter in an arcade, that's awesome, leads to a romance at total odds with everything she's known. Equal parts ultraviolence and kawaii, I hate saying that. Nezumi's First Love turns both the hitman and love comedy genres on their heads. I'm really impressed by it. It looks super brutal, and I like the character designs. I want to check this out. And the fact that they meet at an arcade, let's go. Hell yeah.
You love murder.
Monster Girls, murder, arcades, supernatural. I'm a complex weirdo. So
alcoholism.
Bass guitars.
Bass guitars.
I'm pretty sure the arcade's just going to be on that one chapter, and we'll never see it again. But you never know. They could fall in love and go back and play some games.
Ooh.
So interested in Nezumi's First Love. Panels look so interesting. They do. Then this one. Before You Go Extinct by Takashi Ushiro Yato with art by Kanato Abiko. Butcher that. A humble rock is at the center of this transmigratory tale of two souls who take the form of penguins, otters, crows, and more as they learn about the value of culture, the beauty of play in the face of capitalist pressure to produce and reproduce, and the power of love in the face of total annihilation.
Seems like a To Your Eternity ripoff.
To Your Eternity, with more like satire and stuff.
With penguins.
Or penguins. And a giant egg. That's a big ass egg. They put that out? Jesus. And then we got fall box sets and new editions. Okay. They are doing something that I thought should have been done ages ago, but I'm glad it's happening. Obviously, because of the anime premiering next year, Witch Hat Atelier is getting the first box set, Volume 1. This collects the first 6 volumes of the series, plus an exclusive set of art cards.
They should have added tarot cards.
Oh, that would have been nice. Yeah. Yeah. Penguins is an instant buy. I've never been more mad that I already own a series. You're really mad because you wrote it in all caps. I feel your pain, brother. I'm sure you can get somebody to trade the cards or something. I don't know.
You probably
Riley, you remember when you got the Demon Slayer box set by itself on that one comic shop?
Yeah, because the comic shop,
they were going to sell the volumes individually, right?
They bought the box set and then they were just selling the volumes individually because I think at the time they were unable to buy the individual volumes. And this will sell better. So they just bought the box set, unpacked them, and I saw the set there and they were like, "Oh, you can have the box if you want it."
That's hilarious.
That's awesome. So shout out Witch Hat. That's awesome. Probably maybe I'll get it. I don't know. I'm not big on box sets, you know me, but maybe I'll get it. Who knows? Akira hardcover collection, or Akira, however you want to pronounce it. Y'all know what it is. This is with the original Japanese art and right to left reading format, now available in single volume collectible hardcovers. This is similar to what was done with Battle Angel, where you had box sets and you had then the hardcover releases. So if you don't want to track down the box set and you still want it like me, now you can get it in the pretty sure they're going to be large trim size hardcovers.
It's probably going to be the exact same as the hardcovers in the box set.
Yeah.
Just like individual.
I'll sum this one up for you guys.
Yeah.
Akira! Ah!
That was perfectly done. Oh man, I love that meme.
I don't know if I ever said this, but fun fact behind Akira, it's never been printed in a smaller trim size, because when they were originally printing the tankobons, they did the sample volume to show Ultimo how it would look. They did it on the large, I think it's A5 trim paper, and they showed him, and he thought that that's what it was going to be. And so when they were like, "Oh no, it's going to be small tankobon size," he was like, "No, like it has to be this big size." And it was, it's Katsuhiro Otomo saying it, so they're like, "Okay, we'll do it." So
We're not gonna piss you off or anything.
It's apparently, according to Kodansha person that I talked to about it, it's never been printed, not just in English, but in Japan either, in a smaller.
Oh,
so
that's a big flex. Like worldwide, he gets like the large trim on every country.
Was that the last? Because I wanted to respond to a couple things really quick. Before going into everything, really quickly. So there was the comment both from and I apologize, from Masumrana Dewan. I apologize for any mispronunciations. There was the previous one at 907 saying Viz, because I just want to clarify a couple things, some information. The comment saying Viz pretty much has licensed cancels manga time and again the past few years. The difference between this and the one that we were mentioning is that Viz has done, and other publishers as well, they have licensed canceled titles after they had already been canceled. So they knew what they were licensing. They did that knowingly for various reasons, sometimes because it was an author that is popular from something else, like Zombie Powder for Bleach, or sometimes because it was a series that got a lot of attention from the US audience, like the Red Hood, whatever her name was, or like Ayashimon. Both of those were really popular with English-speaking audiences, even though they wound up getting canceled. The one here was canceled, or is not canceled yet. It might get canceled, and it's already been licensed. So there's a big difference between knowingly licensing something that's been canceled and unknowingly licensing something that's going to be canceled. And then prior to that, it was, just to clarify, Kodansha didn't even complete Alita and Sayuki in hardcover. That they completed their license. Because Battle Angel Alita, the original series, with the bonus volume that they did, that was a singular license. Mars Chronicle and the other one, I forget the other title, those are separate licenses. So they only ever set out to do hardcovers for that, and the same for Sayuki. Each of those others are separate licenses. When they license a manga, you license the volumes of that one series. That's one contract, and if they wanted to do more, then they would get the next contract for the next series and keep going. They could license it all at the same time, but it would be a very expensive endeavor to like basically pay up front for 3 different titles. So that's that. Now the topic at hand, though, about Kodansha and why there's so much to say, Colleen.
Oh, but yeah, so before Kodansha's panel announcement, they had like their industry day for NYCC, and they had like a collaborative panel with other publishers, and they had each done manga recommendations. And I haven't seen like one of these collaborative panels, that the roundtables for manga publishers, I haven't seen them do it by demographic before, so I was surprised, and I was like, oh yay, okay, so they're gonna promote some shoujo. And then when they got to it, the very first one was from Kodansha, and they ended up promoting the flower blooms with dignity. I think that's the title.
Yeah, the fragrant flower blooms with dignity.
Fragrant flower. I knew I was messing something up.
Tongue twister.
But that is a shonen series under a shonen imprint, and it's getting a beautiful anime adaptation from Cloverworks, who notoriously hates shoujo series.
They're allergic to shoujo series.
They're literally allergic to shoujo series. So a lot of us were really upset, us being shoujo fans, were really upset that they had done that because they do have some really good shoujo titles coming out right now, and they do also have one that's coming out next year in February that is doing really well in Japan right now, and I think with the right promotion, it could also do pretty well here because it has a palatable art style for people who don't like shoujo, essentially. That one's called Fall in Love, You False Angels, if anyone wants to check that one out. They have it on Simulpub right now. But so that going into the weekend, a lot of shoujo fans are already just kind of like, I mean, this happens all the time, but it's annoying every time. And when Viz does it, it's like they have a clear label, so it's more obvious. So we don't know as much when Kodansha does this because they don't have clear labels. And if you're going to do it that way, just do it that way. You don't have to put demographics on it, and especially if you're going to mess them up, because that just pigeonholes what shoujo and josei is. So some people also did some digging, and the K-Manga app has Yakuza Fiancé, Sweat and Soap, The Fragrant Flower, and a couple other series. I can't remember which ones exactly, but they had them all under shoujo and josei, and those are seinen and shonen manga. So they apparently have been doing this, and we hadn't noticed because no one uses the K-Manga app. So we go into the licenses, and I mean, I would say for the most part, everyone's expectations were pretty low already, since we really haven't gotten anything this year. And then so
3 license events, I think, has been like maybe one thing per event.
The most we've gotten in the past few has been the new Sailor Moon box set. And then them announcing that they're going to print the sequel series to Magic Knight Rebirth. So stuff they already had, but just like new versions, I guess. And then of new licenses for physical, I think there was a BL series. I don't remember which that one was. But then they also had announced Fall in Love, You False Angels, which doesn't come out until next year. And then Guilty, which is from the mangaka of what is that one called? It's like a crazy drama one that's digital only. But anyway, so we only got like 2 or 3 physical announcements of shoujo and josei series this year. So the fact that we have ended the year now with Kodansha basically having only announced 2 to 3 series, a lot of people were really upset and already being upset because of the mislabeling shonen as shoujo, which happens all the time. And so a lot of people were airing out their grievances, which is exactly what we did with Viz, and the same thing happened. So when a shoujo fan, primarily female audience, airs out any grievances, of course it's, oh, you guys need to shut up, you're complaining, you're annoying, you're entitled. So a lot of those kinds of posts came out of the woodwork, and it's not surprising because I'm so used to it at this point, but it's very annoying because you have all these people telling us about, oh, well, they can't do this. Oh, well, they can't do that. And we understand. As shoujo fans, we completely understand that maybe a publisher can't do something. We're not under the assumption that they can just pull stuff out of their ass. Like, we know that it takes time to do stuff. We know it takes money to do stuff. But the thing is, what is frustrating is that people use these sales numbers to say, oh, well, you guys, you don't buy anything, so that's your fault. Or like, oh, you guys, you don't promote your series ever. You don't talk about them, so that's your fault.
That's insane.
And it's so frustrating because if I can go slightly off on a tangent from Kodansha, but a lot of people lack nuance when they talk about this stuff. because sure, shoujo doesn't sell as well, but you have to look behind the numbers to understand why that's the case. Yes, it doesn't sell as well, but where is the marketing? Where is the promotion?
Right.
Also consider the aspect of sexism. Consider the aspect that these series aren't getting anime in the same respect as their shonen and seinen counterparts, and especially to the fact that when they do get anime, it doesn't convince people to go buy the manga because the anime aren't well made. They're often just like cheap reproductions that I don't really know why they make them at that point if they're just not going to put any effort into them. Because I guess just to sell Blu-rays, but
typically when you make an anime, the purpose of the anime is to promote the book. So because the book will sell more in Japan than the show, because they have a lot more book collectors than physical media Blu-ray collectors.
Yeah,
and I agree with you 100%. I'm watching a bunch of the new stuff, and while the story's great, they do not look good at all, and I'm really annoyed by that.
It's been especially like annoying since A Sign of Affection came out, because there you see one really good anime adaptation of a series. Like, you see the dedication, you see the time, you see the money put behind it. There was like the team cared, and you can see that in their interviews too. They spent 3 years on this series. And honestly, I've always said, like, if they're not going to make a shoujo anime, if it's because they're not making it for 3 years because they're working on it, I will take that any day. Like, I'm not going to complain about people putting time and effort into a craft. So, but like, A Condition Called Love came out. It wasn't very good. One of my favorite series ever. And I like, the anime was so subpar. Nina the Sorry Bride, it's not terrible.
But it could be better.
It could be so much better.
Yeah.
Like, Natsume is good. Natsume is always good. But it's Natsume, you know? But like, we're not getting new Natsume here because no one knows about Natsume, because it's a long ongoing series that's not really getting the same promotion because it's already so long and ongoing, and Viz doesn't reprint it. So like, no one can really get their hands on it. There's so many factors into why shoujo doesn't sell well, and to not consider that and to not like acknowledge that, I just feel is so disingenuous to call us entitled or to say that we are the problem as fans. Because I mean, I already posted the video on Twitter, but I buy only shoujo and josei manga because that is where my money is going, because that's where I know needs help. And it's not our fault. It is people who refuse to buy shoujo and josei. It is people who don't want to like get new series. I mean, I'm not going to blame you if you don't know if something is going to be in your lane, then like, of course. But that just goes back to no anime adaptation. Like, so much of manga here relies on a good anime adaptation that gets hype online. And if it's not a shoujo, if it is a shoujo, if it is a josei, those anime are less likely to get hyped anyway. And the ones that do get hyped, people just call them shoujo and josei even when they aren't. So there's just like, so that too. And this is less about Viz right now, because I do think Viz has been doing so much better, which is why no one's really complaining about them in the community right now. We're mad at Kodansha. We like 7Cs. We like Yen Press. Yen Press is doing a really good job lately. And 7Cs, I feel like they at least always have a shoujo romance series like available. But Kodansha is like the one that they do have a lot. And I will give them the credit that they are now simulpubbing a lot of series from their shoujo magazines, because when it first came out, K-Manga didn't have like anything. They had Sign of Affection. No, they didn't even have Sign of Affection simulpubbed. I think they just had Card Captors, Clear Card. So like, they were already lacking in that department, and they're only just now getting all of these simulpub series from their shoujo magazines. And most of these shoujo series that are simulpubbing from them are being licensed by 7Cs now. So like, they just it seems like they just don't care. Like the only things that they want are things that are gonna have an anime or like are already popular. And that's where a lot of the frustration lies, because we understand that sales are a huge factor and we understand that all of these things are a huge factor, but that doesn't negate the fact that it all stems from systematic sexism that we can't help. So the only thing we can do is be like, hey, we are here. Like, we want to buy these series. Will you let us buy from you? Like,
Exactly.
and that's where the other thing comes from. It's just like, we're asking to buy your manga. we're not bullying publishers unless bullying people to let you give them money is a thing.
Blaming consumers will always be the bullshit answer, regardless of the demographic. That's a shame. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like this problem, like the systematic stuff, the problem is sexism for shoujo and josei, but like you would think these fans of other series would also not be super happy with Kodansha with how much they only put stuff out in digital. Like the stuff that so many people want are digital only. And like you would think they would be like, hey, Kodansha, this isn't a sustainable model. And I understand as well that Kodansha US is probably not behind most of those decisions of what goes to digital first. But like, what else can we do other than be like we fill out the surveys, we respond to their whatever thing that they send to people. But yeah, it's very frustrating because I feel like a lot of people just refuse to see the nuance because they just I almost said something a little inflammatory, but
maybe you can censor it and say it in another way so people get the hint.
They just don't recognize misogyny in the way that so many other people who have dealt with it can see it. And I'll end my whole spiel because I'm sure Riley has some stuff to add, but I will end my whole spiel by saying misogyny is not just hating women. Misogyny is a systemic problem that makes sure that women don't like have anything. Essentially, they are
oppression.
They like, this is a systematic problem. It's not a manga. It's not just a manga thing, but because it is universal, it affects everything. And one of those things is manga. And the reason why many people who are passionate about manga are also passionate about this is because it affects their lives. And that is where I will get off my soapbox. And Riley, you can add anything that I missed.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah, I can elaborate on a couple of things, like provide additional information. I will. Alex has already responded to Sign, however that name is pronounced, but the 7C's harassment thing was primarily about Kinporsche. Kinporsche, I don't know everything about the creator, but she is guilty of like her having harassed, I think it was at least one of the actors from the live action adaptation. And so a lot of people are upset that 7C's continued to publish and promote the title knowing that this has happened, even though they probably are contractually obligated because they licensed the title before all that information even happened. And so they're still publishing it. People are not happy with the fact that they're still publishing it. And they have started to harass the artist, who I think is the Billy Bali or whatever, Billy Bali, who's doing the cover. They did the series Fangs. And we talked about it on here before and how fun the name of the creator was. Gio's like, that's so funny, I have to leave. They did the series Fangs over at Tokyo Pop, and I think that they were commissioned because 7C's commissions artists to do their novel covers, and I believe they commissioned that creator to do the Kinporsche cover, and so people are attacking her, him, them, I don't know, they're attacking them online and have been harassing them online to the point that it was so bad, Seven Seas felt that they needed to reach out about it. And I wanted to talk about that as an aside, because it does actually tie back, because a lot of people, we were both looking at the responses to that. There's a lot of people who are trying to tie that into the whole thing with Kodansha and the lack of shoujo.
Oh, really?
Yes, like online, there were people, specifically one motherfucker that we hate, who
trying to connect invisible dots.
Yeah, trying to say like this is because Seven Seas is trying to get ahead of it because they don't like the harassment towards whatever. And it's like, no, Seven Seas, like that right there, like saying that proves that that person and anyone else who was saying that knows nothing about like what the shoujo community was upset about in the first place, because the shoujo community has had nothing to say about Seven Seas, because as has been pointed out by Colleen and then in the chat as well, Seven Seas has been doing a lot of good, really wanted shoujo titles. And in fact, I think that they've done several Kodansha licenses.
Yeah, they did the Glasses with a Chance, which was something that a lot of people were really wanting. And then the newest series from the mangaka of Living Room Matsunaga, the Choking on Love one.
Yeah.
And then they also grabbed the first short story volume of the author Koko Uzuki, who's doing Fall in Love, False Angels, which comes out in December.
Hotet, I think.
Yeah, however you say the title.
So that, yeah, I want to throw that out, that it did come back around. Like there was a relation to it, and like it has nothing to do with that, because again, like people have been happy with them. So one of the things I wanted to add that Colleen mentioned, that a lot of people know, that it's not the Kodansha US people that are responsible for a lot of these decisions of like what goes and stays into digital releases. But it actually does come from the parent company, of course, Kodansha Japan. And I'll tell y'all the conversation that I had. And if anything's untrue, it's because the person I talked to told me something that wasn't true. But when Initial D got announced, I was at that convention doing work for Anime News Network, and they send the PR emails to me, or not to me, but to Anime News Network like the day before, so that they can get everything prepared. And so I was attending the various panels to like get pictures and send them additional info. And they sent me the Kodansha one the night before the announcement. So I knew about Initial D the night before. And so the very first thing in the morning, first day of the convention, I ran over to Kodansha and I found one of the guys that I know there. And I was like, oh my God, dude. I told him like why I already knew. And I was like, I'm so excited. I cannot believe you're finally getting to do Initial D. And he's like, we're so excited as well. I'm so happy that Japan finally let us do this series. And then I said, hopefully y'all will be able to do some of these others that have been stuck digital for a while. And I brought up Beck Mongolian Chop Squad, for instance. And he said, that's my favorite series of all time. I've been asking, like we have been asking them to let us print that again. So it is literally, again, unless what he told me was not entirely factual, it is literally the fact that they have to get those approvals from Japan. And it's not completely up to them on what they are going to do, what they're going to license, what they're going to spend money on. So the Kodansha US team is like, there is a very high chance that this lack of shoujo is coming down from on high. K-Manga, the app, is also by Kodansha Japan. The US team has nothing to do with K-Manga's app. And that's why the K-Manga app runs so differently than like the Viz app and stuff like that, where you have to pay for individual chapters. And so the fact that the K-Manga app had so many titles labeled as shoujo that were not shoujo and stuff like that makes me feel like they've been, this has been systemic within Kodansha for a minute. Like they have been making this decision that they want to basically not do any of these shoujo titles, which is it's not good in any way for them to make that decision. But Yeah.
And that's the other thing. It's like we're not coming for editors or like the team that works on these.
Right.
We're coming for the businessmen who are the ones making these decisions and telling us that no, you don't get this because X, Y, and Z. And often X, Y, and Z is just, oh, well, girls don't buy anything and girls can't blah, blah, blah. And then we'll just throw them a romance series, which is that's sexist. It's literally sexism to be like, girls only like romance manga. Yeah, like we are mad at the people at the top who make these decisions.
You know, like we all know the person who's running the Twitter account doesn't have that decision, but the people who are running the socials and the people who do the marketing and the people like on every step of the way will see these things and they will respond back, and it will eventually help. Another point though that I wanted to bring up before we talk about that, like kind of how this has all moved forward, just in a few days, that is they at some point in the recent past literally said, Kodansha said that Mars was too long for them to do physically. And then
I know a lot of people bring that up, but I don't remember where it came from.
I remember seeing something about it, but for the sake of
how long is Mars?
It is
14
plus the like horse with no name or whatever.
Yeah, so 15.
And I believe it has like an 8-volume re-release, which is what they would probably license if it got reprinted.
Yeah, there's like an omnibus edition.
But the Spanish edition is coming out. It's not coming out here. So it's insane to see the difference in like over here saying like, oh, it's too long, we're not going to put that out. And yet the Spanish edition, they're putting it out no problem. Like it's already out.
Right. So like I believe it was somewhere on Twitter. We can try and find it. We can find the origin of this, but for the sake of staying upset, we're just going to say that it happened. And they said 100% true that Mars was too long for them to license, and yet they have all these other things. And let's, for the sake of staying mad, say that they are publishing all 44 volumes of Drops of God. Like that's another thing. And like so many people online were equating this, like being angry and upset about this entire systemic issue that's happening towards like one demographic, essentially, because shoujo and josei are pretty much one and the same. This whole entire systemic thing happening against shoujo and josei, they are not angry as some people, upsettingly some people within the industry, were saying like you're being entitled or you're complaining because you didn't get the one thing that you wanted. It wasn't like people upset because Witch Watch still hasn't gotten a physical release. It's people upset because it's been a whole year of this baloney coming from Kodansha, at least a year of them kind of shifting into this direction that is proving that the upper levels and those in Japan, the ones that are making these decisions, are specifically going against this entire group of people. And they have all these bootlickers who are going to sit there and tell you how the numbers need to add up and how this, that, and this, when publishers are not sitting there believing that every single thing they publish is going to make fucking Naruto numbers. Like that's not realistic. Publishers put books out with the intent that some of them are going to sell better than others and some are not going to sell as well. And sometimes they just want to put a book out because they think it's a good one and they think it's important that the audience has it, because there's so many things that we just don't get. Like there are titles from Seven Seas, for instance. If you look at all the stuff that they put up for nomination in the awards recently, none of those were huge, like massive sellers, like Soara and the Monster House, Dinosaur Sanctuary. Those titles are sellers. Those are great, fantastic titles that they don't count on those being like the next Tokyo Revengers for them, but they wanted it out there because it's important to them and they think it's a great series, and the people that are working at those companies want to put those in people's hands. And if it does well, awesome. But whatever. But now the way that this has happened after 2-3 days of people being entitled on the internet, Colleen, it's led towards something.
At the very least, because I will say from what I saw from my friend posting this screenshot, I was thinking it was a little bit more than what it ended up being. But at the very least, they posted a tab, a scroll tab, like underneath their homepage on the site that had like surefire shoujose, which I think it's very funny to say shoujose because that's very much a fan and community term that I don't see many other people use as much. But they had a tab of manga that was called surefire shoujose. There was Sign of Affection on it, Condition Called Love, Beauty is the Tramp, which is a new digital release from them.
Oh wait, that's a picture you sent me, right?
Oh yeah. And then so they added Mars recently because Mars was not on this list at first. And that's what I find kind of funny because a lot of people are mad about the Mars thing. But yeah. So like it's something. At the very least, I'll give them that. Like it's something.
Within a few days. So that like I feel like looking at it realistically from the stance of like what's going on, like it seems like people on the ground level were like, oh shit. And they were like, they're right. Like we don't do promotion. We don't do anything. We should probably do something.
Cause like I will say, I'm not like, even in Japan, I am not Kodansha's biggest fan. I think most of their magazines that they publish for shoujo and josei are romance centric that have like really no variation to them other than just like romance drama, and they used to be a lot better. And I do have series that I enjoy quite a bit, obviously, but they're not my favorite. They're not my go-to. I would say their josei magazines are probably what I would want more of. And that's what we literally get nothing of. I would say Nina has been the one josei series from them that has been the most advertised and pushed, and that is because anime.
Mm-hmm.
So while I wouldn't say I'm like a huge fan of Kodansha in general in the first place, like something, just give us something. Oh, and I just remembered my girlfriend's child is Kodansha title. So you guys, Seven Seas got that one too.
Yeah. That one was a little bit ago, but and that's another one that they put in for like award nominations and stuff like that. Which I'm sure like it. I mean, it's a fucking amazing series. I'm sure that one is not like the biggest seller in the world, but obviously they want to push it. Like they wanted that out there because it's an important title.
Yeah, and like that is what a company should do. If you have something that you think is good, a story that is good, then you should just market it. You should push it. Like when you walk into a Barnes and Noble, you have signs on the bookshelves that are almost only for shonen and seinen titles because those are the ones that have anime that are popular at the moment. And then nothing else on the shelf, at least on the ones that I go to, have any sort of like, hey, pick this one up. It's like this. And then they don't have any sort of presence on the tables, or like it's not even just within the publishers too. It's across the board. But if the publishers are not even giving manga to these people because they're not licensing it, then like we're already getting so little promotion. You're giving even less space to it. And then I had one more thing I was going to mention, and now I'm forgetting. Oh, one of my friends had mentioned as well that one of the biggest things that, and I've noticed this as well, and it's something that's always just kind of been like heavy on me because I feel like I have to be the spokesperson because people look towards me for shoujo and josei stuff. So I feel like the heaviest burden with this sometimes, but it doesn't feel like we have a person, a publisher, like a singular person that we can look towards in the industry to be like, help us out. We know that you love shoujo and josei. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of people who do love shoujo and josei who work for these companies, but like, obviously they might not want to be like a face of anything, but like, we don't have like someone who can pull their weight around, or like a publisher who like we can look towards and be like, okay, you are the shoujo and josei publisher. What can you do for us? We have Shoujo Beat, and they're an imprint, and we've been doing a lot better with Shoujo Beat, but like you're not going to get a full release schedule like you would with Sublime or the Shonen Jump line, or I don't know. I'm trying to think of other publishers that like the Faku line. If you're looking for hentai, we don't have like that for shoujo and josei. So we have to look at all these different publishers and be like, okay, who's gonna get this one thing? Like, and you never know who it's gonna be. Like, Don't Call It Mystery technically would have gone to Viz, and it went to Seven Seas. And Honey Lemon Soda technically would have gone to Viz, and it went to Yen Press. So, I mean, it's all stuff we've talked about with the Viz stuff like 2 years ago. And it's just the same every time. And the response to us, to our like excitement is part of it, but also frustration.
Yeah.
Because we love shoujo, and then everyone's just like, shut up. It's frustrating. And I think it does stem from sexism, whether people want to admit it or not.
Yeah, I think whether they want to admit it or not, it's something where, like, for me personally, and a lot of people don't look at things this way, which is really weird. If someone tells me like, hey, that thing that you did or said is sexist or racist or whatever, like, that I don't take that offensively to me, you know?
Yeah.
And I take that as more like, hey man, you might not realize, but the thing that you did or said was wrong. And then I, not to sound like an after school special, but I reflect on it and I find out, what it is, why it was wrong, and what I can do to like
make changes.
Right. You make changes to yourself to be a better person. And so when a lot of people, when people on, online or whatever say like, this is sexist, this is misogynistic, they're pointing out like the issue, and people take immediate offense to them being like, I'm not sexist, I'm not misogynist. It's like, you might not be in general, like, though you doing this is not proving your point. But the thing that you have said or the thing that you've done was and
stems from some sort of sexism, racism, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
It's usually because of the systemic issues that you feel like this thing was okay for you to do or say. And you need to look at that. And so many people just don't do that. They don't look at the issue and why it's an issue. They just sit there and get upset that someone is wagging a finger at them, basically. And it's dumb. It's really dumb. I did bring that up to Colleen and friends in our like group Discord about how there's not a shoujo publisher when we have like Viz is like Jump and Sunday, and like I was saying that Dark Horse has kind of solidified itself as the seinen and like 90s, old head place. Like, people who grew up in the 90s with anime, that's Dark Horse is probably going to have their back. But like, and then other places have kind of these identities, but there's not a singular like, this publisher is the shoujo publisher. So you can't really count on something like if Trigun wasn't published, I would be like, oh yeah, that's totally a Dark Horse series. Horse picked that one up. But there's not a publisher that I can say like, oh, no one has 7 Seeds yet. Like, that's totally a blank, and that is really strange. But yeah,
and I would say like the fact that long shoujo series, the fact that we cannot even fathom getting them at any point in time. Like, 7 Seeds is a pipe dream, and we all know it.
Yeah.
That's like, it's got 2 seasons of an anime on Netflix. Yeah. And yet we still can't even like hope to get it. and you want to say this isn't systemic, you don't want to say this isn't misogyny, you want to say, oh well, the sales and the numbers and blah blah blah. Look within yourself.
Yeah. You will never have to say that about a shonen or seinen title, except for like Kingdom. Like the only times in which you have a legitimate argument in which you can sit there and say like, oh fuck, we're never gonna get this shonen or seinen, is if it's like old and long. But everything else, if it's happening right now, I have said to people time and time again, like everything happens eventually. But you cannot say that same thing when it comes to shoujo and josei titles.
And people do try to say it to me all the time, like, oh, it's gonna come eventually. And I'm like, is it though? You're clearly not used to the waiting that I am. It took however many years for Colette to finally come out in English. Like, and that was over 3 years ago. And it started in like 2010. And we're just now getting it. Like,
give me 5 minutes. I'll be right back. Hold on.
You're good. We're just ranting anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we never thought we were going to get Colette, and it happened, but like it was a pipe dream. It was not something I thought I would ever get, which is why I had such a reaction when we saw it.
Everything was kind of stacked against it, like all the different factors of like it's a little bit older, it's long.
Fantasy series, not like straight up romance, because that seemed to be what Viz was only licensing lately. I mean, I think there's a lot of unnecessary comparisons, and sometimes I invite it myself, but it's because I see so many people just be like numbers. Numbers, like businessman grind set, and like those are the kinds of people I hate. I hate those people because they refuse to see any sort of humanity or emotion or systemic problem in the numbers. And when you only look at numbers, you tend to draw unnecessary comparisons. So like I unfortunately, like nothing against Mary Manga Co., but they did post something that I thought was kind of incomparable when they said that Kagurabachi had 12 pre-orders on their site and Colette only had 3, and it was really hyped in the shoujo community. And once again, nothing against them. It was just something I saw them say. Colette is not a well-known series. People may think it's a well-known series, maybe because I'm posting about it all the time, or I love it. But it's not a well-known series. It doesn't have an anime. There's no simulpub release. And it's from 2010. So like, there's a lot that is not comparable to Kagurabachi, which is like, was meme to hell on Twitter, is a currently ongoing simulpub series, and like has a pretty big following because of that memification of it. Yeah. Like, there's going to be a lot more pre-orders for it because it's also just a Shonen Jump title. You can read it right now if you wanted to, so people already know that they like it. And you can kind of do that with some Shoujo Beat titles, but because Colette is from Hakusensha, they don't have it on the app. Yeah. So that's just like another thing. It's just like, I feel like because of the numbers and not looking behind them, you do get a lot of like people not being nuanced in their comparisons, or comparing two things that just like, you know what? I'll say it. Honey Lemon Soda. I don't know why we were looking at the numbers for that. Yeah, it doesn't sell well right now. It's literally a series that is for like 12-year-olds. And that's not a knock against it. It literally just is.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a children's series. And shoujo fans in the US are notoriously like 17 and older. At least I'm pretty sure now. Like, I don't think Shoujo Beat is really for the younger kids anymore. I think most of their series are meant for like older teens.
Plus the show's coming up. Give it some time. There'll be a boost of sales when that show happens. I'm sure of it.
There's so many examples of that happening. I like to point to My Dear Friend Nokotan as
Yeah.
a big one, where as soon as that anime started, people just went wild, and it sold out immediately, like all places, and it just came back like a few weeks ago, I think.
Yeah. So like, if you're going to compare sales, maybe don't pick one that's gonna have an anime coming soon that does actually look pretty good. Because it most likely will do at least better than it is right now. But also, I just think Yen Press hasn't found the right marketing for Honey Lemon Soda at the moment, because it is for a younger audience. And I think a lot of people probably went into it thinking that it was more of a Kimi ni Todoke. Kimi ni Todoke is meant for an audience of 15 and older, and not for like elementary to middle schoolers. So like Honey Lemon Soda is not going to be for everyone because it is a younger audience series, and I feel like Yen Press doesn't market it like that. So not many people are picking it up because maybe they read volume 1 and thought, oh, this is a little too childish for me. Which, like, sure, that's fine. Not everything's going to be for everyone, but like, why are we saying that Honey Lemon Soda not selling well means that we don't get any shoujo anymore?
Yeah.
When did that become the deciding factor for a
Yeah.
whole library of stuff?
You can
Exactly.
sit there and pull out like numbers if you really wanted to for like all kinds of different titles, and like
Yeah.
there's going to be a lot of like highly praised shonen and seinen titles that are not selling terribly well. It's just, again, the way that it is. Like, not everything sells crazy.
There we go. There we go. I
Yeah.
found this. I wanted to play it. Unrelated to what we're talking about. Sorry. I love it. Oh, is it going to play? There it is. I love the hello chat. Love it. Now I'm going to use that now for when we start the shows.
Me when Riley tags me in for shoujo drama.
Oh.
And I will say it is very funny that the first time I was ever on this live stream was when we were talking about the shoujo beat drama.
It was fun.
Full circle, and now look at where we are.
Love it. Love it.
The question for us, do we think piracy or just free legal availability helps sales since exposure and popularity is being discussed? I think a very basic, like, yeah, the free legal ability obviously would be huge, because for the most part, it has been shown time and time again that titles that people read digitally that they don't have to pay, especially, like, people do buy those. Like, it is a way to get someone to be like, oh, I really like that, I would like to own it.
Yeah.
Illegal piracy also can help in that same way. Like, a lot of people read things illegally. The people who read things illegally and don't wind up buying something are the people who wouldn't have wound up buying it in the first place. Like, very vast majority of the time. But the other thing about piracy, and the thing that a lot of companies don't think about, is when you have piracy happening, the way to respond to it should be to make the legal obtainability easier, not to make it like more difficult. We should be we should be having more things like Viz is doing really well with this. You have the Viz app, you have the Shonen Jump app, and a very large amount of the titles that they publish physically are available to read for just a few bucks a month. It's a small enough amount that while, yes, you are paying for it, like, it doesn't seem that bad, like, for people, because they have so much that they can get. And a lot of people, because typically the official digital version is going to be better than the scans, like the illegal ones, they'll just pay for the official one, and they'll wait for the official stuff to come out rather than doing the illegal scans. And that's a good example of a company doing it the right way. Whereas, on the other hand, Kodansha with K-Manga, Kodansha Japan, made it to where you have to buy individual chapters and spend a ton of money to read something digitally instead of just having a subscription service. And those titles still get pirated to high hell.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna add that I do remember I watched one of the manga roundtables that they had posted on YouTube during the quarantine. And I'm pretty positive this is what one of the people there said, But the thing that actually hurts their business is just when re-uploaded scans of already published manga.
Yeah.
Are like that's the scans that loses them money more than anything. I don't remember if they said something about like scanlations or anything, but
the Space Inky with the Wouldn't It Make Sense that piracy demotes publishers to pick up series, especially with long stuff by Usagui, like Usagui. Not necessarily, because a lot of times you will find a good example actually was Seven Seas just did a massive, like the 12 new Danmei licenses. And on one of them, they mentioned specifically like the title that people know it by, like online. There's other publishers and like who have talked about like this is popular online, and popular online is code for like if they're not publishing digital edition, popular online means it's popular with people who have been reading the scans. Like and that often the things that people are submitting for consideration for physical publication are titles that they either have themselves read illegally, or titles that they've seen other people talk about that they think look good. So a lot of things, a lot of the longer ones like Usagui don't get picked up, but that's just the cost factor of it. But a lot of these things, like a lot of these shorter titles and stuff, especially, these publishers are picking them up because of the people who are asking for it because they read it online.
Real quick, Kane, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I saved most of your comments and I couldn't get to them. So I'm so sorry. This has been a really great discussion. Have an early start tomorrow.
Kane for always spelling my name correctly.
Oh, that's right.
R-Y-E.
Yeah.
I was said R-W-E.
I have a bunch of saved comments here that I'm going to go by real quick because we've been going on for a little bit.
Yeah.
This I am okay. I'm going to forgive me. I'm going to seem like a jerk for moving the conversation away from what we're talking about. Okay. Gio, can you buy from Barnes & Noble online? No, I cannot. I used to. It would be no problem whatsoever. They would ship stuff all the time. I bought vinyl records. I bought hardcover books. I bought softcover books, manga, whatever. And all of a sudden, I believe since last year, I made an order for some books. I can't remember which ones. It was a series that I was collecting, and they suddenly said, "Oh, we cannot ship to your location. We're canceling your order." And then randomly another order did go through, but then a third one did not, and now nothing happens. So I stopped buying from them online. So
that's so weird.
I literally do not have a place to buy manga from unless it's our sponsor, Instocktrades.com, your home for collected editions. You get your omnibus, trade paperback, hardcovers, and manga. All the manga that we've talked about tonight, you can get it at Instocktrades.com. Great discounted prices that range from 42 to 50% off at times. Free shipping in the US at $50 or more. And the loyalty discount adds an extra 2% discount to your order if you make it on a week-by-week basis. Great packaging, wonderful customer service, only when you visit Instocktrades.com, our lovely sponsor. So thank you, Hfield, for segueing into our sponsor read. So yeah, and that. I love this. Josh tuned in late and was surprised by the big personality in the thumbnail. That is, I already forgot the name of it. Reincarnation Coliseum thing, Boob Attack. Something.
Boob Attack.
I don't feel it. Oh, this was before Blue Lock. Okay, because the translation will get worse because it's sped up. 7C seems to really care about female consumers. They even acknowledged a gap in the market when they came out with the Steam ship aimed at female consumers. Hacker Arcade popping in late, but hope everyone is doing well. Thank you so much. I love your username. That's awesome. And the neon sign. Kane, consumers have the rights to purchase what they want. If consumers feel the quality doesn't meet their expectations, then that is the fault of the company. Full stop. Companies blaming their customers is a lazy move that will just alienate the consumers even more, and that will be reflective in their purchases. Well said. Kodansha literally labels sketchy at Josei series on the physical book itself. Wow, I did not know that. when it's literally a seinen, literally nonsense. This made me chuckle. Not Kodansha Japan expanding the K-manga app international, and the only new country they're adding is Japan. That's wild. This is me not knowing. When Kodansha goes to digital, is this off their app or a PDF you got to buy? I think off their app, right?
Yeah.
You don't download any digital file to your computer?
I have really only bought digital from them twice, and that was a while ago. So I'm actually not sure.
Yeah. Oh, we lost the insufferable Omnibus collector.
He pieced out.
I know.
Oh, I got a message. Oh, that's funny. He said his computer died.
Oh, well, see if we can log in from his phone. We can end it if he jumps in. I know this is Viz, but do you feel like Red River releases are a good sign of things improving?
I think any sort of reprint for any older series that is hard to buy is going to be a good sign. So yeah, I mean, I would say so. I don't know if I would say it's improving like, oh, Viz is listening to us, but any reprint for an old shoujo series that people are scamming others online, scalping them to high hell, it's going to be a good thing. So
I am pissed off because I ordered a copy on the day of release and I got there too late. So they sold out of stock. Ugh. And I'm still waiting for them to get new stock so my copy can ship. So I still don't own it. And the damn yokai art book from Shigeru Mizuki, which I hyped up for a freaking year, I don't have it as well because it's sold out, and I'm waiting for my copy to ship. The yokai guy here on the YouTube manga tubing nonsense, and I don't even got it with me.
Send Gio the yokai manga, and the monster manga, and the titty manga.
No, not that.
Send them all of them.
No. How can people try a manga if they don't even know it exists because it doesn't have an anime and the publisher doesn't promote it anyway? I've already said it before, but so many people, especially men, talk about manga like people talk about sports, and it's such an ugly way to engage with the media. Blah. Very much related to numbers, bros. Yep, absolutely. You talked about this, right? Kagurabachi is probably the biggest up-and-comer, and it got memed to high hell over here. How does that compare at all? I started reading it when it came out. I thought it was just okay. I don't understand the hype behind that release, but whatever. What do I know?
I think like the irony turned into
now they're stuck publishing that thing. You are the yokai guy? I thought you were the big person. I do have a big personality. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're referring by for that, but yeah.
Biggest personality I know.
Right. Reincarnation Coliseum. Thank you, Space Inky. Thank you so much. Gia, I'm pretty sure I remember Omnidog saying he'd be willing to be the Barnes & Noble go for free. Probably, yeah. But I do have a lot of, fortunately, I've been blessed to know so many wonderful people online that have said, like, hey, you need anything, let me know. I don't like bothering people at all. I've had many opportunities to buy stuff online with the help of other people. I choose not to. I don't want to bother people with that stuff. But even though they say, like, oh, don't worry about it, like, it's okay. It's just
bother us.
I know. Any other questions, guys, before we start wrapping up? Because it's pretty late. I hadn't noticed.
Yeah, we were going for a while.
Josh, this isn't me trolling. How does one tell a title is shoujo? That's a good question.
You know what? We can go straight into the plugs. I will plug my video. Where I talk about all about the history of shoujo manga, like how it started, some of the quirks that are very common throughout art and shoujo. Obviously, you're not going to be able to tell 100% of the time if something is a shoujo or not, because all artists are different. But many shoujo magazines will have a cohesive look about them because magazines are trying to sell an image. So check out my video. I changed the title of it recently, and now I don't remember what the title is, but it's like Shoujo Manga Retrospective, something like that. You can watch it on Colleen's Manga Rex. You can also find me on Twitter ranting about shoujo as well at Colleen's Manga, and on Instagram, Colleen's Manga Rex too. Gio, where can they find you?
Beautiful. Love it. You can find me on my channel, Manga Geekdom, where I talk about all the manga that I read. Social media, you can find me on Twitter, Threads, and Blue Sky under Manga Geekdom. I have a Discord. Oh, there it is, James, my man. Let's go. That's my Discord link. You can join. A lot of wonderful people. Some that are on this chat are on there, so you can chat and meme and goof around. We'd love it over there. And I just put out a video. I'm not embarrassed to admit this. The video sucked views wise, not content wise, because I'm proud of what I do. Damn it. So if you want to, even if you listen to it on mute or you view it on mute, that's okay with me. I just put out a Junji Ito video, and because I hadn't done one since 2022, so I'm promoting it everywhere on all the social media apps and on here as well, because why the heck not? So if you guys want to check it out, it's me just rambling, talking about 3 books that I read from Ito that I own, but I hadn't gotten to it. I'd appreciate it. James is asking if this is the one.
No, that's my Shonen Jump to Shoujo series. So those are like recommendations for people who don't know, like to make the switch to like start trying out shoujo. If you scroll through my channel, honestly, you could find any video and it might help answer your question, honestly.
Is the one shoujo mangaka that gets promoted by Viz. That's also true. Yep.
I was just going to promote Riley for him since he's gone, but you can follow Riley on Omni Collector or the Omnibus Collector on YouTube.
Yeah, baby. Let's go. So, folks, it's been a long night. I hope you enjoyed this broadcast. You learned a few things. You goofed, you gaffed, you laughed, and all that fun stuff in between. We will be back tomorrow with a stream. Omnidog and Comics Guide will be here talking, taking your questions and all that fun stuff and whatnot. So be sure to tune in tomorrow, Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be back on Monday for Hall's Previews and Reads, and then next Thursday we're going to do another manga stream. So how about that? Everyone, request your local libraries to acquire shoujo, please. That's a good solution as well. Think about it.
If you don't have the means, then go to your library and request those books, because that's what I did as a kid, and that's how I read all the shoujo series that I used to love.
Nice.
Go to your library.
Go to watch us. Go to the library and then put the video on in the library so people know, and they'll be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm watching. This is important." Hit the like button, subscribe, share the video if you like it, and all that fun stuff. That's it. We're out of here. Have a great night. Thank you. I apologize if I did not scroll through all the comments like I usually do. It's just a lot, and I'm tired. It's late. Yeah. So thank you, everybody. Have a great night. God bless. Love your faces. All that fun stuff. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.